Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Good evening. Well, you are welcome to Formula Sim Racing with our coverage of the World Championship here. We're at the Hungary ring this week, and well, it has been one saucy competition so far this season. We're past the halfway mark, and well, it's getting even better now. I am Dyer. Joining me in the commentary booth is McGlade. And Lewis, first of all, before we get into this, let's do with niceties. How are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I am doing good. Looking forward to 306 kilometres of good racing, 70 laps around here. It should be a good one. We're talking high tyre wear. We're talking strategic balance. This is going to be a super crucial race for that championship if Yannis Simicic really wants to put two hands in it. But we're looking for a good one.
Yeah, this is a race where we're expecting strategy to be king. And of course, we know who the king of strategy is, Yannis Simicic. Currently sitting at second in qualifying. It's all coming down to the tyres, and for me, he is number one. But let's have a quick little look at the car and what these guys are driving around. 933 brake horsepower is that engine. Can reach a top speed of 370 kph. Weighs a mere 740 kilograms. And then it's got two different mixtures and two different boost modes, which are going to be so important around here. What with the lack of DRS, really. Only two straights they can be used on, the second one of course being incredibly short, so of course pulling out that quali pace could be the key to get a crucial overtake because of race position is so important. Let's have a quick look at who won out last time, because it was not Yannis Simicic. During my absence here, Lewis, he hasn't been able to get a first place. Maybe ours is a little lucky charm, but definitely not Martin Gosby's lucky charm, as he has rocketed after getting his spot on the main ACR team, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a superb drive. Maybe a little bit lucky. Yannis Simicic caught in a little bit of traffic just after the first pit stop, and it kind of just allowed Martin Gosby to pull a decent gap. Very solid drive. Excellent qualification lap from Gosby, as he's put one in here as well. We'll be keeping an eye on him this round to see if he can really cement it. It was the first time that Martin Gosby took back-to-back victories in the World Championship. So it's an important one for him, and we'll see if he can go for the triple.
Yeah, and definitely an important one for his team as well now, as he has moved to the Avid Chronic Racing team, the main team. Let's have a quick look at the standings there. 227 points the main team are up. Second place, 134. The sister team, Blues, Edge, falling behind a little bit on 101. You're on the Lessie Esports Academy at 82. Then you've got the HME team with 67. NetRex pulling in 44, Ghost Speed at 27, Invictus with 14 points today, Flag to Flag with 6, Frammy 4, and then the Ground Effect Sim Racing team are with 1 lonely point. It all comes down to this, and well, Lewis, we've got some exciting news because there are some team changes due to a couple of effects going on. We've got Harris Paves and Victor Ivanov joining in for the young Alessi side. Dennis Jordan and Daniel Brewer are going to be joining in for Edge. And we've got our very own Cameron Rogers stepping on in from Victor. So there is lots of chance here for some of the lower teams maybe to jump up some points where we have these changes. And of course, all eyes to ACR, as there is no reason for these lads not to get top marks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my eyes this round don't exclude Edge Esports. You know, you've got obviously a complete driver lineup change as they've all disappeared off elsewhere. And we've got Daniel Brewer, who is a good driver. Do not get me wrong, very very high quality. But you got Dennis Jordan. Now DJ is a quality open wheel driver.
Oh, yeah.
I have raced with him, you know, in various series since 2015, and he is a quality up and above the average, and I would definitely keep an eye on him here. Presently qualified in the 4th position. Of course, Edge Esports have gone through the season where they've had times of looking very quick, looking potential winners, and it's just not happened. Is this the round it changes with a fresh lineup?
Yeah, and that's it. Edge have the capabilities to bring in these great drivers, so it's great for them, of course. And then when we look over to the Jon Lessie side with Harris Paves and Victor Ivanov, this is almost like them bringing forward the pro drivers and giving them a taste, giving them sort of like a little chance at the spotlight and maybe a little look to next year. Who knows?
Well, the Jean Lacey squad, let's be real, if we look at the last 3 rounds, it has been an awful time in the World Championship. It's not been a good year regardless. They've got the 2 previous champions in that team, of course, D'Alessandro and Mohamed Patel. Between those two, they've had a single podium, which was at China, and they haven't scored a point for any of the previous 3 races. That's a terrible run for the team.
Yeah, of course, Sandro not being able to make it to Silverstone and then DMFs for the rest. This is definitely questions being asked about his team. I've just noticed that Martin Gosby is out on track. Currently 2nd behind his teammate, Simčić, who has put in a wickedly fast 1:13.728. He's sitting in the pits at the moment. I reckon he's probably happy with that time. Because we did talk about this a little bit earlier, about the strategy aspect. We're expecting 2, maybe 3, if drivers are trying a little alt strategy here, aren't we today, Lewis?
Yeah, absolutely. Qualifying is going to be crucial. Basically, we're in a position where if you qualify in the top 10, you want to qualify at the top of the top 10, i.e. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, somewhere like that. If you don't qualify in 1st, 2nd or 3rd, you want to be 11th, right? You don't want to be at the back end on the ultras in that top 10 because obviously, one of the rules in FSR, you have to start on the compound that you qualified on if you start inside the top 10, or if you qualify inside the top 10 rather. So what that means is realistically, you don't want to be 8th, 9th or 10th. You want to be 11th instead. So you have that open strategy of not being forced to use the ultra soft, which is good for maybe about 3 corners.
Yeah, now having a quick little look around, it seems like everyone is still going for the Ultra Softs here. I'm looking at a lot of purple ring tyres, which is very interesting to me, because apart from Victor Ivanov, who hasn't gone out yet, he's still on those yellows. So I'm looking at that and going, if it was me anyway, it don't matter, because you can take whatever fresh set, can't you? But everyone is still trying to knock it in. But there's got to be a little game of cat and mouse. So I'm looking at Sander Callis there in 10th, and he's probably there hoping that someone can just hop him.
Yes, but Sander Callis does have a bit of an issue, which we should get into, the penalties. We will get into this more like afterwards, and we'll go through it, but Sander Callis does have a 22-place grid penalty, so regardless of where he qualifies, he is starting at the back.
Yeah.
But for him, it would be more of like a confidence boost, I guess. Although, to be fair, actually, and this one would have to be double-checked, I'm pretty sure if he qualifies inside the top 10, then has a 22-place grid penalty, he still has to start on the Ultra Softs, because he qualified in the top 10.
Yeah.
Which has just been confirmed to us, yeah. So,
and
realistically
he has just
for him,
been knocked out of the top 10, so
yeah,
he should be safe.
I would stop qualifying right now.
Yeah, what are you doing, dude? Don't go out there. Maybe it's a bit of a feel and he's actually using it as a bit of tester. I hope that is what he's doing, because at the moment, he's just he's slowed down, let cars through, so hopefully he compromised himself a little bit and just wants to get a little bit of a run around the track. We're looking at some other drivers. I don't know who's taken Danny Vandenet's drive for today. We'll have to quickly check that, but whoever that is will be taking a 16-place grid penalty. having a quick look around as well. And whoever takes Michael DeSandro's car from the John Alessi side will also be taking a 2-place grid penalty. So there's a couple that go around. Not everyone is getting one, but some have been hurt, and we'll see how that changes up the field, because the John Alessi side is still a top runner of that mid-pack, aren't they? So that 2-place grid penalty could hurt them a little bit.
Yeah, the mid, that team should be higher than the mid pack. I mean, that's no disrespect to their driver. It's just like that quality of team. You would expect
that season, ain't it?
It's just something with this car and that team and the setup just has not clicked. It's also Harris Parvez, I believe, who's in the number 1 car, and he'll be taking that 2-place grid drop. Currently qualified in 19th position. Speaking of the qualifiers, might as well quickly run through the top 10. Simoncic is currently on pole position, about to come round and start another lap, just ahead of Martin Gosby, his teammate, who's just started his on the run up towards turn 4. Robin Panzar is about to complete one, which is just personal best in the second sector. He's completely ruined the final corner. Dennis Jordan is currently in 4th position on 14.1. I would like to come back to Dennis Jordan when he starts his lap, because that could be an interesting one. Morchek currently in 5th position, outside of the top 4, which would be locked out by ACR if he was in there. Fournier in 6th, Brackshock 7th, Araneda 8th, Costa in a beautiful livery, by the way, with the updated shaders for Ricardo Costa, and then Lukaszek on his return in 10th place at the moment.
Right, we're going to have to cut to Dennis Jordan then, as he is coming around that last turn 14. He's going to be setting himself up, DRS wide open, as he goes over the starting line. Long run down to turn 1, heavy braking into this, and you can see he's overshot it a tiny little bit, heavy braking into that. Does pick up DRS for turn 2. Of course, you always get DRS in qualifying. This is a turn that is so tricky to get a hold of in turn 2. Down in turn 3 is just a flow through. The same with turn 4 as he approaches it. Big step over that curb, but it's all absolutely fan-dabby-dozy as long as you got 2 wheels over the line, of course. He is coming up on traffic, and you can see people getting out of the way. Respectful stuff. I didn't actually get to see who that was, but commend him for just stepping out into the gravel there. We have just gone through turn 9, coming down into...
Whoa, way
that
too
was
fast.
Massive in 11. Way too fast, and that's going to compromise his run. There's no way, and he knows it, that he is not setting a best.
Ooh.
He does still have time to put one more lap in.
Yeah, absolutely. Morchek just jumped up into 3rd position, by the way, so now it is ACR 1, 2, 3, and 4. The dominant team this season, really
like it.
showing to it. Yeah.
And that's it. When you've got, like, don't get me wrong, everyone here has got sort of sister teams and who they're working alongside to develop these setups, because, of course, these guys, no lie about it, are running in different leagues, and they do this a lot for fun. Don't get me wrong, there's money on the line at the same time for both the constructors and the drivers, but they're doing this for fun, so they develop setups together, don't they? Like, we always heard that, I think it was Robin Panzar tried to do it one way and it conflicted with someone else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they have to try and get this middle ground between drivers, and for the ACR team, that's between 4 drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to. It's where you've got to be picky with who you team up with. And I've found this before. I'm going to absolutely rip into someone here, so prepare yourself. Oscar Hardwick. He is a good friend of mine. However, I wouldn't team up with him properly in a league like this. Mostly for the fact that I know he could build a setup, but he's the only person in the entirety of SimRacing that can drive on that setup. And everyone else is like, God, this is a horrible mess. But it works for him. Fair enough. But you're absolutely right. Like picking teammates to actually have a setup that works for everyone is near impossible. That's like trying to solve world hunger. It's almost impossible because everyone's driving style is ever so slightly different. That comes down to their actual driving style and preference, what equipment they have, even how their game's running. Everything. There is always subtle things that require different setup changes. No one runs on the same steering rotation. I found that one. That's always good.
Yeah. That's actually, quite an interesting one, because even down to the wheels, like, I've been looking at myself personally because I'm wanting an upgrade. Do I go spend a little bit more on, say, the Thrustmaster? Look at the sponsorship there. T300, because it's got a lot more steering accuracy over, like, the Logitech G29. But the Logitech G29 have the slightly better pedals. What is worth it, that's the same for all drivers. They have what they like, and of course, everyone's on different sort of gear with different sensitivities. So sometimes you can't get the perfect setup because it feels different for someone else, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different things. There's Danny Van Der Neat, by the way, has just joined the game, ready for his old 16-place grid drop.
Maybe that's why it's not even bothering with
just
qualifying.
why bother? Sander Callis is still trying to qualify. He's just come down to turn 1 now as everyone's preparing for their final runs. One thing I have noticed through this qualifying session is there has been, naturally, a lot of mistakes. It is a very, very hard circuit. And this is where I'm going to throw something out to you. Now, in the previous round, we had a really high attrition rate. Like, it was, I think, 11 cars of the 21 retired the race, leaving us with 10 at the end. I think the attrition rate, despite this being a much harder circuit, I think the attrition rate here will be a lot lower because everyone's ready for it.
Everyone's cautious because it's all about elevation changes at the Hungaroring, ain't it? So everyone's a lot more cautious, whereas with German Grand Prix, keep him on Simčić, he just keeps it under control because he's on his current hot lap. The Hungaroring, with those elevation changes, when we get around to race pace, people will be careful of that, and of course it's a lot easier to defend around this track where it's slightly skinnier. Yeah, hopefully we just don't see too many crashes into each other, that's it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of them last round were crashes by themselves for the most part. There was a couple in the first lap. Wow, keep an eye on Simčić for this lap. He's gone purple through the first sector. He's done a 24.900 in the second sector, which is a personal best. As Sander Callis, for some reason, moves up into 4th position. Enjoy those tyres, my friend. Simčić rounding the final corner. I picked up a lot of understeer there on the exit. Yeah.
And the star points into the wall.
Didn't want that one. Yeah, he just picked up so much understeer on the front end coming through the final corner and just decided to bail out of it. Martin Gosby's about to start his lap. And Morchek is on an out lap, I believe. Oh, he is.
I'm keeping my little eye. It looks like he's on the out lap. Yeah, the way he's whipping it around. I'm going to be saying we keep our eyes on Gosby right now because Rose, unfortunately didn't set anything faster in Sector 1, so it's got to be Gosby to challenge Simčić, and that's what I'm feeling like it's going to be today, because these two lads know what the strategy is of each other, and it is going to be coming down to pure racing between these two, and that is a new PB for Gosby. However, it is 8/100ths down on Simčić.
He really had to push the rear end through turn 5 there. It just didn't do it. It hooked up the chicane all right. It just took a bit too much curb coming through the really fast left, right, left. Just a bit too much understeer there as he's trying to hook all this up through turn 11. Oh, too much understeer. Look at this understeer in the high speed. These tyres do not like being pushed super, super hard. The thermal degradation around here is absolutely huge. Really struggled to get on the power at turn 12. Comes around 13. Going to try and hook the inside. Let it run wide a little bit. Just balancing it on the power, comes through 14. He did a decent second sector. Oh, but he picked up a massive bit of oversteer there. He's going to come to the line. Is going to be improvement? No. No, it is
Fortunate,
not.
No. Roughly about 2 tenths, just over 2 tenths down on that lap anyway for Martin Gosby over Simčić. Bradshaw just jumped up. Where did you come from, lad? God. That was a massive jump for him. So great stuff, of course. We've suddenly just got someone come in out of the cold. Geoffrey Fournier's just finishing up his lap, but he knows that was not faster, so he halted just towards the end, preferring the other tyres. Of course, he had massive oversteer and had to fight into the last turn. But with that, Lewis, I think we are done and dusted with qualifying.
We are indeed. Brackshock, I mean, this great form from Ghost Speed right now. They qualified really well last time. I think they were 4th and 5th in qualifying. Brackshock qualified 5th. Tom Saverly, who came in from the Pro Series, he was on the podium earlier today as well, and won back in Germany. He came in and qualified in 4th position. Unfortunately, was taken out in an early incident. But there's been a real turn in form in that Ghost Speed camp. And oddly, of all of the teams on the field, I would not have called it to be Ghost Speed, but they seem to be the ones that are getting closer and closer and closer to ACR, which is fantastic to see. So well done, Brackshock. First podium came last time out, and looking to maybe etch his name on another trophy.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen Bradshaw in other tournaments around in other leagues, and he has got the class. Him getting in 3rd from you know, FSR this season is a rare sight, but I'm hoping it becomes a reoccurring theme, as I'm sure you guys at home are as well. But for right now, what isn't going to become a recurring thing, because that only happens once, is a quick break. We've got to go off, get ourselves, well, for me, it's going to be a quick glass of water, because I've run out.
Healthy.
But we will be back in mere minutes, won't we, Lewis?
We certainly will. See you then.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I have to play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
So I have a hand.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to FSR with our coverage of the World Championship here. We have had such a delectable little qualifying session that we're just going through the warm-up phase and getting ready, of course, for the main event, the race itself. I am Corey Dyer. Joining me in the commentary booth is none other than Lewis McGlade. And Lewis, if you could sum up that qualifying in 3 words, what would you use?
Abichronic racing.
That is a very fair sum up.
They look so strong at the moment. It's kind of hard to look past them for a victor, but it was a great qualifying session. It wasn't the tightest, but it was intriguing to see what was happening towards the bottom end of the top 10 and outside of it. And obviously with that last lap sort of lunge as well from Janis Brakshock getting himself up into third position.
Can we note it was only 1,000th of a second down on Martin Gosby?
That's
nuts.
That's terrible, awful.
How can he be 1,000th? How can he be a fly's fart away? You know, Jesus.
How could you live with yourself with that?
But I'm sure second on the grid is not bad, of course, when we look at the Go Speed side. Like, this is a return to form for this team, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that is great to see. When I first started being around FSR and commentating on FSR, Ghost Speed were always him was sort of like there and thereabouts, and they've been like that for a while, where they've been close. You know, they've done bits at the front, but they've never sort of like secured themselves. And I really hope this turn of form is one that they can keep consistently, because you know, I think most of us like Ghost Speed. They're a good team, and when everyone was kind of looking at Edge to be that team that was going to come and fight, or even the John Lacey boys, to have it as someone that wasn't even on like the radar to come and really challenge was quite a shock for everyone, I think.
Yeah, it's that case of we're hoping Edge might be able to close the gap, and then Ghost Speed come and ruin that. So they've ruined our sort of fight for the top. But look at Ghost, 17 points behind Netrex at the moment in the Constructors standing. This could turn into a battle of the midfield, and it could be a lovely little one as we finish off the second half of the season, of course.
Do you want me to give you a fun fact?
Oh, I love my fun facts. Go
Right.
on.
The last time we had a Grand Prix here at the Hungary was in 2017. Would you like to know what team won?
Oh, go on, spoil me with it. I've got a good idea, but it's a guess.
It was Ghost Speed.
Ew.
Would you like to know what the driver was?
If it was Brakshock again, I'm going to be
It was
amazed.
not.
Oh,
It was Jerne Simoncic in a Ghost Speed. That is a fun fact.
that, yeah, is a super odd one. It almost is. Is this... Okay, it's a battle today then between Brakshock and Simoncic. Who is going to claim the continuation back-to-back? You know, is it going to be the constructor or is it going to be the driver? That is an interesting one.
Yeah, so it is always good when those kind of things get thrown out. It's like, oh, that is very
Tasty.
interesting.
Oh, so we're looking at race pace for everyone as well. Rojek being able to throw out some good times, of course. I just saw him put down a 118.875 on the Ultras. Simoncic, we thought... We were amazed. We got one driver below the 119 mark into the 118s, but we've got three here. Brakshock able to do it as well as Simoncic and Rojek. That's quite good for me because we're both a little bit worried. We're going to throw it out that ACR could just run away at the start, aren't we?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, I brought this up. I don't think they'll run away right at the start, but I reckon when we come around to that first pit stop, there is that fear that they will be able to pull away from that point onwards.
We know the power that Simoncic has and his ability for tyre control. So we could see him sort of like just try and make those ultra softs last. So he's got a lot more life on what we're expecting to be a two-stop with two medium tyres, aren't we?
Absolutely. If anyone's going to throw something really weird into the mix, it will be Simoncic. That said, I would assume his strategy, at least at this present moment in time, will be ultra soft, medium. We'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. We are getting ready for the Grand Prix, and it should be an interesting one, at least from a strategical point of view, as they begin their formation lap.
Oh, and I've just got weird rFactor things where everyone's driving orange tyres for me here, Lewis.
Yeah, same. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that will change because it generally fixes itself over like the next 20 seconds, don't it? Just going to quickly update my race view because guys at home, if you want to keep like a little update on times, I definitely know I use the official Formula 1 stuff when I watch Formula 1 races, and you can do the same. Head on over to raceview.nl. Along the right hand side, you'll be able to quickly pick out the FSR race. It will show live timers and you can see what everyone is doing. Everything from, of course, their name, their tyre, the gap they have to the guy behind and to the guy in front, sorry, their best lap so far, what they did last lap, and their fastest sectors and everything running down. It is absolutely beautiful, even to actually, and this amazed me because I didn't know the first time you used it, how long they have been on those tyres. That is actually incredibly important for us as commentators, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super handy. Very quickly, whilst we're on the formation, I'm just going to quickly run through the order so we all know what's going on. And, of course, as you were speaking, the tyres that people are on. Jerne Simoncic has that pole position ahead of Martin Gosby, so it's an ACR front row. And of an excellent qualification from Janis Brakshock. He went from 5th last time out to the podium, currently goes from 3rd with a track that Gosby previously won at. Morcek in 4th, and then Panzar in 5th. Dennis Jordan on his debut in 6th position, doing a good job. Jos Araneda in 7th, Jeffrey Fournier in 8th, Peeve in 9th, rounding out the people on the ultra soft tyre. Then on the medium compound of tyre, we've got Ricardo Costa, Lukacek, Michi Hoyer on his return, Kirill Burukov as well, who's in 30th position. Daniel Brewer's on the hard compound of tyre. He is new to the series. I wonder if he's misread something, because I don't think we've got the hard tyre here that they can
No,
run.
we haven't.
It's not, so that'll be, I think, a disqualification to him. Sorry. Stephen Michaels currently on the soft compound of tyre. Valeriano, Kasdorp on the mediums. Harris Parvez on the mediums in 18th position. Sandar Callis in 19th position. On the medium compound tyre, when he qualified in the ultras inside the top 10, I think that will also be a swift penalty on his part. And then Danny Vandeny in 20th position. Cameron Roger and Victor Ivanov both starting from the pit lane.
And I'm looking at Cameron Roger for that one. I reckon he chose the pit lane. Definitely no for him. Knowing this start, probably just wants to get away cleanly. Because this is his race. He had a little bit of a muck-up, of course, in the pro race earlier. So he's wanting to redeem and have a good time here. But as I say, that lights are all flashing up. We've got 5 just waiting for them to drop, which has just happened. And that is a wickedly good start for Yoni Simčić. Martin Gosby under attack from Rojek, who moves on to the outside. He is going to try and hold on that inside, but for how long is he going to be able to continue that pace down into turn 2? It's looking good for Gosby fighting off Roja. Can see Brakshock down into 4th, of course. Ron Panzer up into 5th. Dennis Jordan down into 6th. And Jos Araneda holding on to 7th. Pace.
Oh, Pace though.
Oh, beauty of a move. Just being able to keep a hold of that car. Just saw a little bit of a kick-up of dirt in the back as well. But everyone looking to hold on to those cars. I think I just saw, Harris Parvis having to go off track a little bit. And, there he is as
lots
well.
of front wings. Lots of front wings. I think that's, Parves, Michaels. Sander Callis has been off the road as well.
And that's
Van der
Callis
Neat has
retired.
lost his front wing. Oh, my God. Front wings galore into the chicane.
Is that the sausage curve down there?
I'm not sure. I'll go have a look.
Yeah, if you can get a little rewind, because unfortunately my rFactor 2 never lets me rewind. It's a sad, sad day for old Corey here. But the one thing we feared most here is a little bit happening right now. Simčić is quite a good distance away, and he's just, I reckon, trying to keep out of range of Gosby here. He just wants to hold on to that 1 second buffer by lap 4 when the DRS opens.
It was Stephen Michaels, by the way, that was into the back of Yuri Kasdorp as they all kind of concertinaed up into the chicane. So just a bit of clumsy first lap action as everyone's very, very close. Been there, done that. I've actually had that from Yuri Kasdorp once, so always fun.
I mean, he does get a certain name about him, and everyone's allowed little derpy moments, we shall say. It happens.
Yeah, Yuri was just sort of sat. He was trying to. Basically, as the 2 cars ahead had slowed down, he then slowed down. And by that point, Stephen Michaels hadn't started braking. So it's a mistake on Michaels' part.
Oh, it's a lap 1 occurrence. It always happens near enough. Braking zones aren't the same as what you're used to. You haven't set them up, because normally when you're doing your practice laps around, it's when you're in clean air, not when you've got 3 cars or so blocking where you need to turn into. So that's why you'll notice that first laps are so slow, and it's all because people are just being cautious as the pack thins out. What's not thinning out actually is up front. Martin Gosby is closed there only by 10th on Simčić, making sure that his teammate doesn't get too far ahead. We know they're 2 teammates, but they are thoroughly allowed to race, aren't they?
Absolutely allowed to attack each other. There is no sort of like orders or anything there. They're allowed to race, as we've just been told that Dan Brewer has been into the pits and he has retired from the race as well. To be fair,
it's the hard tyres.
It's the hard tyres. Yeah. If there was,
read the rules.
If there was a disqualification coming that way, that wouldn't have been great. So it's better to get that hard work out of the way early. Sorry, but that's how it is. At least that will allow Dennis Jordan to know to not go onto the hard tyres on his pit stop. Currently, just over a second off the back of Robin Panzer. Dennis Jordan struggling just to get into the rhythm here at the start of this race, but he's a man who's very excellent on his tyre control and conservation. So we'll keep an eye on DJ through the rest of this first stint and see if he can claw his way back up to the top 5.
Yeah, he's definitely a driver we've got a good, clear eye on, purely because He's looking to follow up the second pack of drivers. He's going to be leading that train from the looks of it and how this is all spreading out. But at the same time, this is his first drive in this car, isn't it? So he's still learning it during the race, because he would have had practice drives and that throughout, but like we said, not really in traffic, would he?
No, and every time you drive in traffic, the car's always very different. I remember the Formula Renault 3.5 back in the day in 2016 when it was the second iteration of the 3.5, and everyone was like, yeah, this car's great, this car's brilliant, this car's great, this car's great. And then we did a race in it, and then we're like, there is a lot of dirty air in this car, and it was so much, and it was almost unraceable. And so from that point of view, it's all well and good putting in a lot of laps and even racing and dicing with your teammate, but actually being in a pack, completely different.
Well, it's like, again, taken to normal Formula 1, when we saw testing at the start of this season, it was all Ferrari, and then it changed when Mercedes could just handle it, even though last year they were the ones that struggled in dirty air. Ferrari just not being able to do it this season, amongst other factors, of course. Let's get back to this. It's like we said, Martin Gosby being able to hold on. He's gone and clawed himself another 10th, it seems, as he is making sure Simoncic does not run off into the sunset. We're just coming around to the 4th lap when the DRS will be open for him to take, and this will be interesting to see Simoncic's choices here, because, of course, that DRS is open for Gosby. But Simoncic, is he going to use a little bit more tyre life? Because we were expecting at this point for him to be going a little bit slower to conserve him for an extra lap or two. Let's see, will he fight off?
Well, I mean, Harris Perez, by the way, has retired from the race, which isn't so great for them. But with this battle up front, I don't think Simoncic will pull away. I think he'll look after his tyres. He'll keep himself sort of around a 7 to 8 tenth gap as long as he's coming through the final corner to make sure that Martin Gosby won't pass. I don't think Gosby will be looking to pass at the moment, though. He's got one of his sister teammates directly behind. Fair enough. He wants to be saving a little bit of fuel. Fair enough. Maybe looking after his tyres a little bit. And so I don't think he'll have that immediate requirement to try and catch and pass Simoncic. He knows what Simoncic's strategy is. He knows what his tyre wear is. And so from that, he's trying to figure a way to get a leg up on Simoncic and try and get past by using this as more of a tactical risk, because he knows Simoncic won't try and pull away.
Yeah, I think it definitely is that fuel conservation that you picked up. That is going to be key. I'm looking at times as they come in. Gosby does set fastest sector 1 by about 3 tenths. Of course, that's down to the DRS, of course, but he is just over a tenth slower in sector 2. You can see he's closed the gap so much, and this could just be, like I said, we'll really find the proof in the pudding here if he happily decides to stay behind, or if he'll overtake him. What I'd imagine would be about 2 laps time, because he's not pushing anything extra, is he?
No, absolutely not. By the way, 5 laps in, we have 4 retirements. Yuri Kazdorp joining the list. He made a mistake coming out of turn 9, turn 8, turn 9. Just got a little bit too much power, got onto the AstroTurf, spun it out, hit the wall, took off his front wing, damaged the front right suspension quite heavily, and has chosen to retire from the race. So that's Yuri Kazdorp added to the ever-growing list of retirements.
I'm currently looking for where we could see an overtake, because it's at that point in the race where we could get a little one. The best chance is probably Victor Ivanov back down in P16, as he's closing into the back of Cameron Roger. He's about half a second behind now, so that could be a DRS overtake right for the taking there. Seemingly doesn't have the same speed that Roger has around the second sector though, so just keep a little eye on that, of course, on RaceView, because right now it is all standard, look to front, and just see what the plan is. What's the strategy for these guys?
Who's going to be the first one to bite the bullet and come into the pit lane? Because whoever it is, I reckon they will see a hefty gain from this. I
reckon, yeah, the undercut's going to be strong here, definitely.
Yeah, Ivanov looked like, by the way, he was struggling a lot in that second sector. You're absolutely right. I think he's got a massive understeer issue in that car.
I'm having a quick look as well. The next fight I think could happen would be the fight for P8. Geoffrey Fournier is looking to close in on Jos Araneda, who I think also has a little bit of a problem with understeer.
Yeah, well, when you're in the pack, when you're behind someone else, the dirty air really swallows up that grip, and it's a problem that gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse through thermal degradation. So Fournier at the moment, he will probably be hitting the effects of it, but he's doing a good job. We've seen him do very, very good things on his tyres. We look back to the French Grand Prix on home soil for him, where he got up to the podium. And onto that with an excellent strategy. He did start outside the top 10 that day, but that actually worked in his favour. Maybe the only one who is working in his favour at the moment, starting outside the top 10, is Fournier's teammate Ricardo Costa, who's just keeping about 3.5 seconds off the back of the ultra tyres, but he's doing a good job with it.
And of course,
Panzer.
That is a very early stop again from the ACR Blue. So this could be a little tester, and remember, that's not from the front. So this is going to be an interesting one. Also interesting to see where he comes out, of course. Onto the mediums, he's deciding to go. We'll have to see what that does for him. I'm looking at Danny Van Den Eet and thinking Panzer's absolutely safe there, so he'll pop out in P16. But that does highlight how close this pack is. Of course, we're only 7 laps into this race, and it's all because we know those ultra softs are not going to last that much longer.
No, absolutely not. It's interesting to see one of the ACRs taking the bullet first. I wonder if that's trying to get the other cars onto a different strategy. Not too sure.
Big note as well. Simtich and Gosby have got a big lead now. They've got outside of the DRS window to Rojek, who's now got to really put foot to the floor and try and close that up. Otherwise, we could see those two ACR main team cars just absolutely drive off. Is that both of them?
Both of them in? Oh, God.
No.
They're not. Are they in different boxes? They're in different boxes. Yeah. And more check-in as well. And oh my God, everyone is in. Everyone is responding.
Dimitrich has got lucky with all the traffic, and so has
oh my
his
God, that's a busy pit lane. That is a busy pit lane. Ricardo Costa.
That's just hit. What was it? Josh Arenada just got hit by his teammate or having to leave that same pit box. That could definitely change things up. As look at that, Geoffrey Fournier in the pit stop has climbed ahead of Arenada. We just got a quick note as well. Simchich actually having a little bit of contact, and so has fallen all the way down to 7th. Now this is going to... he was already in 7th, but having a little bit of contact hurting him a little bit.
They've got to get past this traffic ASAP. This was what split them apart. This was what allowed Gosby to really pull out that gap at the German Grand Prix, where Gosby got by and then pulled away as Simonchich struggled to get by, struggled to get up ahead. I think it was Panzer as well who's having a good drive that day. They struggled to get by some traffic, and it really cost Simonchich. So today, is that going to play an effect the other way around? Not quite sure. I'm surprised Panzer didn't make any progress, really.
You say that, he's ahead of Bradshaw now.
He was already... Oh, yes, no, he was ahead. Yep,
he got one spot from that early pit stop, so cannot blame him there, and he's now hugging near enough the back end of his teammate's car as Mrozek is just ahead. So that, to me, just looks like Bradshaw got caught in the busy pit lane.
Simonchich through to 6th. Nice, easy pass into T1.
You can see Roger's not firing at all. He knows his fight is not with Simonchich. He's definitely using for a little bit of a toe there. Risky move down into turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if Martin Gosby's going to be able to get by, but I think Gosby's going to get caught out in this second sector here, because I think he's going to have to lose a little bit of time. Already, the gap between Simonchich and Gosby is 1.5 seconds. It'll become more and more the longer time that he has sat behind Cameron Roger. Obviously started from the pit lane, doing a good job so far on those soft compound tyres, presently going on lap 10 of this Grand Prix.
Keep an eye on Rojek as well, as he is really closed in to the back of Gosby. Of course, Gosby struggling seemingly with Sector 2. So Rojek, if he plays his cards right, might be able to get caught up in this and really put some damage onto Gosby, who seemingly doesn't have it in him yet to be able to take Roger. Hopefully he can do it through the straight.
The thing is, I think you'll see Cameron Roger just get overtaken here by Gosby. I think Mrocek will be able to get by into turn 2. I think you'll see Gosby close up to the back of Simoncic because Simoncic will be looking after his tyres, but it means that Gosby will be using his more. So watch out for that.
Mrocek, look at that. That was some heavy braking. He tried to sneak on the inside of Cameron Roger, and he will try this now on the outside. Of course, he should have the advantage, of course, following through into turn 3 and will. Now, Panzer, he does not want to get stuck by, of course, throughout Sector 2. So let's see. Can he do that fabled turn 5 move we were talking earlier? He has just had a miracle happen, as unfortunately Cameron Roger had to go off the track.
Yeah, that is a bit of a miracle. It is a bit of a miracle there for Robin Panzer. Mrocek, that was an excellent move around the outside, but his front right tyre won't be appreciated. Thankfully, this track is more heavy on the front left than the front right. But yeah, that would have been heavy wear on the front right-hand corner of that car. Simoncic managed to pull out nearly 2 seconds on Gosby. As I say, I think that will come back down as Ricardo Costa heads around to lead the end of the 10th lap and head on to lap 11. Lukaszek just behind Michi Hoyer on his return in third place. Kirill Burakov in 4th, and Valeriano rounding out the top 5 and rounding out the people that are yet to take a pit stop in this Grand Prix. Valeriano going to be the first to have the speedy Simoncic behind him.
And looking at all of them, they're definitely all put down past 16th place currently. That'll swap around to being into the fight for 11th, essentially. As Perry Peeve looking like he is just over 18 seconds behind those at the front. And we know a pit stop is definitely looking at about, 23, 24 seconds maybe?
Something like that. It's quite a slow pit lane there, yeah.
So, past 10 laps, of course, everyone that started on the Ultra Softs has unfortunately got to change off them and have, due to the life of those tyres. The mediums still, of course, going absolutely fine. The interesting part will be seeing when the softs wear out here, Lewis.
Absolutely. Valeriano currently in 5th position, your highest placed soft compound runner. You've got Cameron Roger and Victor Ivanov also on the soft compound tyre in 10th place and 12th place as well, respectively. I'm curious about that one as well, because I kind of hope that Valeriano, who's currently in 5th position, he's obviously behind a lot of the medium compound tyres. I wonder if he's more looking after his tyres. Ricardo Costa, wow, look at this in the lead. Lukaszek went for a move on Ricardo Costa. I think he completely overcooked it. And Ricardo Costa just managed to sweep back down the inside. Who's that as well? Brackshot getting past Cameron Roger down in 10th position as well. So he demotes Roger outside of the points from that pit lane start. Exciting lap there.
Yeah, I'm loving that, and I love the stones from Lukaszek to try that. Don't get me wrong, it was all clean, there was no touching, so good stuff from me. If it had worked out, because of course where it's at that point you go from, it's the turn of the hill, so it's quite easy to lock up those tyres and really go in too deep. That has given Michi Hoyer as well a chance to really close it on in, so this is a nice little battle we've got up front. And of course, notice how Simoncic has, just like a shark, swum his way into the pack. And he's looking a bit hungry to take a few spots here.
Absolutely. I wonder what's going to happen between these ones in the league, because that was a big lock-up for Lukaszek. That is going to absolutely have ripped his front right. He's might be having a little bit of...
Valeriano's into the pits. The softs can only... I'm looking at that, and I think that's just a preemptive pit.
Because he was about to be overtaken,
Yeah, he has to have more life on those tyres.
Will he go medium? I would assume so. That Valeriano will be onto the medium compound tyre here. His box is right at the end of pit lane as he comes up and onto his jacks, and it's soft compound tyres again, so he's going for a 3-stop. Curious.
That bewilders me, yeah. Because at that point, the 3-stop can only... We don't have safety cars, do we? We've got the...
Definitely not.
Yeah.
We would have had a lot of them in Germany.
Oh, Christ, yeah. And I'm just looking at this going... I don't know why he would do that strat unless he just wants to pull out... I don't know. It's a weird one. Unless he thinks he can't do it on the mediums, his tyre wear control is not up for him on a personal level, so he's just going to have a clean race and just have fun, you know, because of course the faster you go around the track because of the softer tyre, a little bit more funner it is to drive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't? Who? Tell me someone who seriously enjoys just cruising around at sort of 80% trying to look after their tyres. I mean, I've been doing a touring car league for 6 years, and the last couple of those, we've done, you know, the NGTC mod, and it's just been tyre saving. I'm like, this is not racing. I mean, yes, it is racing. I can race on them, but you spend most of the race conserving your tyre in a touring car. It's like, this is not cool. It's not fun. It is a point where you just want to be given tyres that are quite literally bulletproof and just push them to the absolute limit.
I think I can remember that discussion, of course, going on. Like, you just have your soft quality tyre, which some teams could pull out if they think they can get that extra little point, and then the rest could last near enough a whole race. Just see how that goes and the strategies that can be formed around it, of course. But looking at this, the strategy for Simoncic is get into that DRS window of Burkov ahead of him. It looks like he's got half a sector now to try and pull a tenth out of the hat somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. He's closing up for sure, and I don't think he'll rush his way past though. I think he's kind of like content with where he's at. He knows these guys are all on very different strategies. He'll want to get by. He sees his teammate closing, but again, I think this is more through the control of the tyre. I kind of get the feeling that if Simoncic wanted to pull away, he could do, but it would use more tyres and then put him on a different strategy. So it's obviously not worth it. He's running his own race and trying to go at his own cadence. Michi Hoyer going around the outside of turn one on Lukaszek. I think this one might actually work because it's going to give him the inside. No, way too wide. Got onto the AstroTurf and just couldn't put down the power effectively. But I reckon if they got to this corner with the grip difference we've got at the moment, the Michi Hoyer might have been able to actually gain that second position. It's just allowed Ricardo Costa to pull away into the sunset as Kirill Burkov becoming under pressure from Jene Simoncic.
And the thing is here, Ricardo Costa's absolutely loving that he's got a little bit of a distance. Simoncic probably is hating that quite a lot because of course he just wants a continuous flow of DRS, doesn't he? Because naturally he doesn't want anyone behind him to be able to gain an advantage over him because he's controlling the front runners at the moment, Simoncic. Don't get me wrong, currently leading this race is Ricardo Costa, but the true leader is still Simoncic at this point unless something weird, wacky and wonderful happens. Simoncic now, it'll be interesting to see where he wants to make this move on Burkov, still assuming it will be turn one.
Absolutely. I think, by the way, just speaking of cars, drivers and weird and wonderful things, I wonder if Brakshock has made a mistake because he was quite close to the back of Panzer. He's now nearly 4 seconds off, or over 4 seconds off, and dropping slowly back into the clutches of a Mr. Dennis Jordan, currently in 10th position, 11th and 10th, those two. I wonder if there has been a mistake on the Ghost Speed driver's part.
Yeah, and we saw Dennis Jordan have a problem earlier as well, didn't we? He just locked up quite a lot. Cameron Roger into the pits. So this, to me, looks, again, a little bit safe, but closer to the true level that the soft tyres should be able to do.
Absolutely. The man who engineered a points-scoring position for flag to flag at the German Grand Prix. So I'm sure he's strategically on it.
Who knows, he might just be able to sneak into that 10th place again. We'll have to watch on. Simoncic still just following behind him, trying to keep a little close eye on any points, but unfortunately that is the closest one. Maybe Peyo Piv is closing in on
Jos Araneda, yeah. Yeah, Jos Araneda had quite a good race with the exception of one lap where he made 2 massive mistakes. And really put an end to what was realistically quite a good drive up until that point. And we'll see if he can bounce back into the good books here as we look back up towards the leaders. Michi Hoyer to the outside of Lukaszek, going to go around the outside of T1 again and try and make that stick. He's got decent drive this time and the DRS, but so does Lukaszek. Oh! Coming straight over. I mean, to be fair, that was legal, but that was dicey.
That was indeed, and has really closed that pack up behind.
Whoa!
Oh! I thought I saw it, Michi Hoyer. Oh, So what happened there, I think Lukaszek might have just got, Hoyer might have got that, that front wing under Lukaszek's rear tyres, and that might have just caused a little bit of damage. I don't know. Of course, you can't see it on the visual model here, but...
Oh, Arenado, by the way. Oh, it's a big crash. Big crash, I think, out of turn 3, rather. He's lost his rear wing.
That's not looking good. If he can get that back...
No. No, he cannot. That's dangerous.
Yeah, he's retired. Too dangerous, and he knows he's not going to risk any, future grid drops and all of that. So well done for him. But unfortunately, yeah, that is as far as his race goes today. That now marks 5 DNFs.
Yeah, but we've got a race going on towards the front as Lukaszek heads onto the start-finish straight. He's under attack from someone different now. It's Kirill Burakov going to go to the outside. And will he lift if he tries cutting him off? I don't know. Burakov just trying to hang around the outside a little bit too wide. He's now going to be open to Yone Simicic on the run down towards turn 2. And Simicic is going to get around. And he's going to try and dive down the inside of Lukaszek. No, he does not. Just runs a little bit wide himself. Now under attack once again by Kirill Burakov. But as they head through turn 3, Yone Simicic is going to get up into 3rd position. He's trying to work his way through this pack. And he's up into 3rd position now. He'll close up to the back of Lukaszek and maybe get that done at the end of lap 19. Martin Gosby, though, staring at the back of Kirill Burakov. His teammate now ahead. And that's going to be very difficult for Gosby to get by. And he's going to lose all that time he worked so hard to gain.
That is it. Simicic chose his point so well, seeing that Burakov had just basically cruised too deep into turn 1, and so he was able to dart up on the inside, nearly losing all that work due to the turn 2 trying to slip up the inside there. But Simicic holds on to P3, and Gosby now, he's got to, at the next turn 1, the next DRS or straight, just coming up after this turn, he's got to get past Burakov, otherwise Simicic is going to be in an absolutely powerful situation. And this is quite a long distance down to turn 1. I don't think he's going to be able to close it.
Yeah, they Simicic to the outside of Lukaszek, trying to hang it round, and he's going to get this one done nice and easy. The superior grip of those slightly fresher tyres. Got that one done. Lukaszek going to try and hang it around the outside of T2, but that is most certainly not going to work. Martin Gosby now has 2 cars between himself and Yone Simicic. And realistically, Martin Gosby took his 5th race win in the World Championship in the previous round. He took that race win away from Yone Simicic. Well, Yone Simicic looks to really secure himself here against his teammate as Yone Simicic is looking for his 15th race victory in the World Championship.
Yeah, and it's all coming down to Martin Gosby not looking so comfortable during this sector 2. You can actually see Burakov being able to get a slight little distance away from him. That's all down to, how downforce works, essentially. So through sector 2, of course, you're going to be falling off. He's got to play it right. I'd expect him right now to try and get on a bit of that race boost going, purely so that he can close up. He needs to make this overtake. Otherwise, he is going to be falling off even further. You can see Simicic there, already over 2 seconds ahead of Gosby now due to those overtakes.
Yeah, Simicic is gone. Simicic is absolutely gone. Kirill Burakov going to try and go for a move on Lukaszek down into turn 1 on the outside. Oh, he's come back across! Whoa! Max Verstappen, eat your heart out. He really gave that one a go. Lukaszek now overtaken by Martin Gosby on the run down towards turn 2. That was quite dangerous by Kirill Burakov. I guess technically not illegal. I don't know how you'd want to see that one, but Kirill
the stewards
Burakov,
will be having a look at it. We definitely know that.
I'm sure they will. He got by. He was fully ahead, and then moved across to take the line away from Lukaszek. Lukaszek not quite seeing that one coming, getting ready for a dive bomb down the inside, and just hits the back of him. Thankfully and luckily, no major crash from that. Don't quite know how, but Lukaszek drops down a couple of positions, and Kirill Burakov, just hanging on to 3rd position, will now be a sitting duck on the straight to the ACR of Martin Gosby.
Oh yeah. And of course, Mrozek was able to sneak through and all of that as well. You can see Lukaszek might have taken a fair bit of damage as Panzer is closing up onto the back of Lukaszek as well. So definitely interesting times. I wonder if, Lukaszek's got any damage
Costa
there.
Costa into the pit lane.
Oh,
so
Lukaszek in as well. I reckon he's definitely, those tyres have got to be spent probably a lot of flat spotting on them, of course. And Costa, 21 laps. And I know because of the heavier fuel that's what you're going to be taking, but I was expecting a lot more out of those medium tyres.
It's definitely a free stop from those two because they've done 20 laps. It's a 70-lap Grand Prix here. They've done 20 of them. Kirill Burikov overtaken there by Gosby and Rocek, as we saw in the broadcast. So it is an ACR lockout on the podium once more.
It's becoming a reoccurring theme, and I don't really like that. I like variety. You know, it's the spice of life. They're having 3 ACRs looking to lock out the podium. Could upset a few people. Brett Schock currently sitting down in P6, technically P5 by all means. I wonder if he's just playing a whole stall game and is just going to be trying to work that 2-stop strategy, because maybe Simoncic, Gosby and Rojek are going for the 3-stop. We know that the 2-stop is possible, but it takes so much management and a lot of dedication for it.
I think, yeah, looking at their tyre where they might be on a 3-stop strategy, we'll see how it unfolds and when they take that second pit stop. What is interesting though is, I mean, it is something which has happened. Obviously, you know, we know of ACR's dominance in this at the moment. But what is more intriguing is when they have had a lockout on the podium. Now, considering how dominant ACR have been, they've only locked out the podium twice. Which, when you consider how dominant they are in this race at the moment, even now they've got their 4 cars are all in the top 5, and that is not an uncommon theme. In the 2019 World Championship, but they've only locked out the podium on 2 previous occasions. One of them was the Canadian Grand Prix, won by Simoncic, and we had Panzar and Gosby on the podium. The other one was the British Grand Prix, won by Gosby, and we had Rocek and Simoncic on the podium. It's Rocek's only podium this season. Obviously, he's only done a few races, but still, yeah, it's an important point.
Oh, it definitely is. Like, I'm looking for it as well, and just seeing Edge had put on they put a fantastic case at the start of the season, of course, and then you look HME of Geoffrey Fournier getting 3rd in France. He had a fantastic time there, naturally, and then Go Speed with Bradshaw in Germany getting that 3rd. So yeah, there's not been that many ACR lockouts, but there's near enough consistently been 2 drivers from ACR on that podium, bar, I want to say, Azerbaijan, yeah, where it was both Peter Berjak and Daniel Kiss of the Edge side that got 2 cars onto it then. That was a fantastic race from the Edge team.
Yeah, not going so well this time, as we've already had a retirement in the form of Daniel Brewer, obviously through the tyre mistakes and stuff like that were on that side of the hard tyre, which was not one of the compounds brought to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Dennis Jordan for Edge Esports jumping in this round, currently in 7th position. Of course, those 2 replacing Kish and Berlak for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It definitely, yeah, that was a time. So looking at it now, and I don't know how he's got that far ahead, but Simoncic over 5 seconds, Lewis, ahead of Gosby. That is ludicrous. And of course, Rojek is still within that DRS window of Gosby ahead. Like, I don't know how that has just happened, how Simoncic has just got all this time out of nowhere.
As long as he could break, when you get to a point, if you can really seriously break everyone else in the sense of through the traffic, pulling out 3 or 4 seconds, then that just gives you the comfort zone to not only look after the tyres, but really just control what's going on. And so Simoncic will be keeping an eye on that 5.5 second gap. I don't think it will extend itself too far beyond 5.5 seconds unless Gosby's really, really not pushing. I reckon it might even come down a bit, but just not that far, because Simoncic might be just looking after his tyres. So it goes up to 5.7. So ignore me. Yeah.
The only difference I can see now is if Gosby hard sticks to a 2-stop, not a 3-stop, isn't it? Because we're looking at Bradshaw, we're saying maybe he could pull off the 2-stop if he's that far back and just looking to conserve it, claim back, like we're saying, about 24 seconds or whatever, just from not having to do a pit window. But he's already 12 behind Simoncic. Admittedly, he'll be looking for a podium, so he's only or about 6 seconds behind Rojek to be able to steal third away from him, but I don't think that's realistically going to happen. You want to play it safe and maybe go for that third stop.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see kind of how they pick their strategy. We know how good SimRacing is on his tyres, but I don't think Rojek will attack Gosby too hard. Of course, there is no team orders on. That's not what we're suggesting here. I'm just suggesting that there probably won't be too much of a fight going on there, as they'll try and just make some progress as Kirill Burakov enters the pit lane on the medium compound tyre. The final man to come into the pit lane and take that stop, Valeriano, comes in for his second stop on the soft compound tyres. So those softs really not lasting long. 25 laps, he's done 2 stops.
Quick little note as well, Geoffrey Fournier having DRS on Dennis Jordan, but Dennis Jordan not having any from Bratshop there. So maybe we could see an interesting little fight go on there, because both these two lads are great drivers. Oh, and yes, as I call him a great driver, he goes and just overcooks it there. So the fight now, Geoffrey Fournier is going to be close up in Sector 2. Let's see what he's going to do behind Dennis Jordan, as this seems like he is primed for the taking, Lewis.
Yeah, the Frenchman, a very, very aggressive driver. Dennis Jordan, one very well calculated, but definitely one that can defend and put on a good move. He's used to dealing with ridiculously heavy amounts of pressure. Has fought some of SimRacing's greatest over his SimRacing career. But with Geoffrey Fournier directly behind, arguably a very, very quick driver in himself, has made plenty of mistakes, don't get me wrong, but when Fournier has a good drive, oh my, is it a good one? As yes, Robin Panzer into the pit lane. Geoffrey Fournier, is he going to look for anything at T1? I don't think he's anywhere near close enough.
No, he's not close enough. But Panzer into the pit lane. I am super confused about that.
Well, what happened the last time he pitted? He pitted, he came in, and then everyone, not just one or two, every single person that was on the Ultra Soft tyre at that time all came into the pit lane.
No, Ron Panzer started on the Ultra Soft, and that was on lap 7 he came in.
Yeah, then everyone else pitted.
Yeah, but I cannot see that those medium tyres has only just lasted him less than 20 laps.
Unless we're looking at a lot higher tyre wear than we thought.
Maybe. And of course, we know if you're running in dirty air really close behind cars, that the tyre degradation is a lot worse, isn't it? Because you've got a lot of the heat kicking up off the track. Of course, rFactor will try and simulate that as best it can, but
Simoncic going to stay out?
We hope. Like, if we see someone else go into the pit lane, like I said, I'm shocked by that.
It is oddly early, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe he's going for the free stop and he just wants to get out of the way for track position. Who knows? Because you got to look at Robin Panzer, and he popped out just behind Lukaszek, so he's in the midfield, and maybe that's his plan. Just sacrificing going on to, like, you know, with the free stop onto an ultra soft by going for more comfortable mediums. I don't know. Maybe
it's still an odd one to pit this early. I mean, the thing is, no one else is responding this time. The previous time when he stopped a lap earlier than everyone, I believe it was Panzer anyway, he stopped a lap earlier than everyone. I think it was on 7, and then everyone else stopped on 8.
Ricardo Costa into turn 2, not able to get it that time, but that's another one to have a quick look at. Sorry to just cut you in there, but he did have a little attempt at it. The battle for P7 is really alive, and Costa is doing a great job of it.
Yeah, it is good to say that Peeve and the flag to flag doing also a very, very good job. Of course, the thing to note about Ricardo Costa, led laps earlier on in the day as Stephen Michaels enters the pit lane. Ricardo Costa is one who has started on the medium compound tyres. So he's on a different strategy to everyone else. His mediums are a lot newer than everyone else's.
But so you look behind him, just a quick little note as well. Hoyer and Lukaszek behind him on those mediums, and I want to say they're not too far, don't get me wrong. Rojek, yeah, as well. So that's the other ACR blue. Could it be a setup problem as well, maybe? But I don't know, because all the ACRs, blue and main team, are running the same setup, so...
P6. Well, 7, sort of. It'll be P6 now. Oh no, it's still P7. Whoa! As Rojek comes out of the pit lane, Ricardo Costa gains 2 positions in one little bit, and Rojek instantly trying to get on the attack of Peeve. But now his old team boss, Mitchy Hoyer, trying to get by, or teammate, I guess. I don't know how it all works. Mitchy Hoyer trying to get by. Rojek, though, nearly got that move done, but he's now sitting at the back of Peeve, coming up towards turn 4. Whoa! That was
Risky.
Oddly risky.
And you got to think, Rozek's tyres are going to be cold coming out to this. So he's got to be super careful of that braking.
But he needs to get it done as quick as possible, because as soon as it gets set, as soon as things are set, then it's harder to get by. If you are catching someone, let's say it's 2 seconds a lap, if you get to them, if you don't get by them almost immediately, then it's a struggle. Jone Simoncic into the pit lane. Martin Gosby stays out. Janis Brakshock stays out. Dennis Jordan, pit lane. Jeffrey Fournier, pit lane. Wow, things are getting very intriguing. Jone Simoncic will come out way ahead of Ricardo Costa. Down in third position at the moment is Jone Simoncic, of course, waiting for Brakshock and Gosby to pit. Ricardo Costa just down the pit lane now. Going to get out ahead of everyone else. Rocek past Peeve now.
This is a very odd one, because of course you look at how much Rocek is as far ahead as he is in front of Panzer. Remember, Panzer going for the undercut, and clearly Rocek at that point just put foot to floor and got a little bit more pace, and Panzer, of course, getting caught up behind everyone in front. It's just been unlucky for Panzer there. Maybe the undercut which he wanted to pull was just way too early.
Yeah, what you need to do a really good undercut is you need an absolutely fantastic race engineer, someone that can tell you where you're going to come out and what's going to happen in the gap. Because if you don't, then you're going to pit and think, yeah, now's a good time to come in and pit, and then you'll be in the middle of 18 other cars trying to go for the final point. It's like, great, brilliant. It's not my battle, and now I'm screwed by it. Thanks. Martin Gosby into the pit lane for ACR. Obviously, he's going to come out in second position, or... yeah, he should come out in second position just ahead of Ricardo Costa, based on the gaps.
What is that, 21 laps, or 22 laps, sorry, on that medium tyre?
About that, yeah.
I'm currently just quickly... I'm
22.
going to go 22 laps on that medium tyre, and we thought it'd last a lot longer. Rozek only doing 20 on his, and Panzer only doing 19. Simčić, the one to look at, was only 21, Ooh. Yeah. So that's a lot less than we thought on these mediums.
Hoyer got past Peeve, and Panzer got past Lukaszek, who's on the soft compounder tyre at the moment. It's Lukaszek. Panzer looking to instantly get on the attack, on the flag to flag as we run up towards turn 4. His teammate had a little bit of a look there. Panzer didn't bother. There's no point. Rocek, by the way, just set the fast lap of the race in an 18.476 as Dennis Jordan sets the fastest first sector quickly. Reset again by Jeffrey Fournier. A little bit further down the order in 11th and 12th position. They'll obviously move up through the pit lane sequence. But currently, the top 12 separated by 20 seconds, which at this point in the race is actually not that bad at all.
No, that's just a single pit stop, essentially. So those that started on the medium tyres might be able to pull something magical off when we look to, say, Brakshock or Ricardo Costa, who is currently under attack from David Rozek.
Oh, look at the lead, though.
Oh, yep, I'm having a look here right now, and that is Simoncic, easy peasy as can be for him to take that quick look. Back to P4, the fight there. Costa moves across. Got to be careful with that defending as Rozek is able to now take it. Costa moved into the middle and then retook the outside line after seeing Rozek step out. Didn't want to cause an accident. Does try to fight for the inside, but no, that would be Rozek all day long, who takes P4.
Lukaszek and Panzer both got past Peo Peeve as well, down in 7th, 8th and 9th. So Panzer in 7th, looking to close into the back of Michi Hoyer. A little bit further ahead. I'm curious as to how Brakshock's strategy is going to be working here. That's my next big curiosity, because of course he also started in the Oxoff tyre. He went 8 laps. He's currently on his 24th lap on these tyres as they come around to complete the 32nd of the race. Will he come in now, or is he really going for the two-stop strategy?
This was the question. This is what it's saying. If he can pull off the two-stop, then it is entirely possible, but no. And that right now, by looking at it, could put him really far back. I'm worried for Brakshock right now.
really far back. I think that might drop him behind Fournier as well. Fournier currently in 12th position as Brakshock into the pit lane and into his box. What tyre is he going to be taking? It'll be the mediums again, surely. It certainly is.
Oh, and Lukashek in as well.
Yeah, he's on the soft compound tyre at the moment as Lukashek. So the two Ghost Speeds deciding to pit at this present moment in time in the end of lap 32. Lukashek going to go to the mediums as well. Yes, he is. And yet Brakshock came out behind Fournier and Jordan, and not close either.
Oh, quick look at P7,
Burkov,
and Peeve. Burkov actually going wheel to wheel. That's the kind of racing we love to see side by side. No damage there, but really, really cutting it close. Dennis Jordan probably loving that as well, as he is right onto the back of Perry Peeve, thinking he might be able to jump up into P9. Remember Fournier there as well. He's been stuck behind Jordan for too long, I'd imagine, for his liking. So he's going to be wanting to hop ahead himself.
Absolutely. One thing to really shout out about, which is just it's not part of the racing, but it does look good. Jeffrey Fournier, if you take a look at the change on the livery, as we've had the slight upgrade on the way the liveries are done, using the new model. Christian, you've done a very good job. That car looks incredible. Just saying. It's got this really nice glisten to it.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It's got a nice little glittery texture.
Yeah, so the paint flecks in it looks very, very nice.
Good stuff. Really upping the quality there. Upping the quality, of course, is Simoncic just being able to get a new fastest lap of the race.
Dennis Jordan on Peeve as well.
Ooh.
More moves happening. Straight down an easy one into T1. Jeffrey Fournier going to try and get him into T2 maybe. I think he'll try and just lob it down. Yeah, he's got to if he wants to keep ahead of, keep in touch with Simoncic. Oh, he's going to lob it down. Oh, sorry, Jordan. That was clumsy. That was clumsy from Fournier. Really tried lobbing it down, but wasn't really close enough. Peeve, I don't know if he didn't see him coming or just didn't care. There was contact on the apex of the corner. Fournier is past Peeve, down into 10th position. Probably more of a racing incident than anything else.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a racing incident because Fournier had front wheels beside Peeve's back wheels. So he's allowed to send it on the inside. Peeve has to allow him that space. And they're touching. No one came off, so it's just a racing incident, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just a bit clumsy from the pair, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I like it. It shows the spirit these drivers have. Of course, unfortunately for Peeve, he's now a fair bit back and actually under attack from Bradshaw. I hope he doesn't have any damage there from that little incident. Shouldn't have. These cars are built just sturdy enough to take a few dents. But Bradshaw here, he's got a brilliant little line on the inside. And of course the DRS should be able to just tuck in behind and make this happen so darn early. That's a clear getaway for him.
Nice. We like to see Bradshaw move up. Obviously, he qualified in 3rd position. Strategically, hasn't had the greatest race. I think he might have made a couple of mistakes a bit early on. But we'll have to see if this strategy comes back into their hands. If they're taking a sacrifice early for later gains. Definitely have to wait and see how that one. Also, one person to keep a note on is Michi Hoyer. He's definitely on a different strategy to everyone else. Currently sits 13th in the standings. Of course, has been missing the previous couple of races. Missed the British Grand Prix. Missed the German Grand Prix as well. Has made his return. Presently driving for Ground Effect instead of ACR. Doing a good job in 5th position at the moment on a completely different strategy to everyone else. Has scored points on every occasion that he's raced this season. Didn't qualify inside the points paying position, mind. But it's on a completely different bubble, so we'll have to see how his race unfolds.
Just to quickly note, of course, Michi Hoyer is already pitted once. He started on the mediums, did 19 laps, and is now onto his 2nd set of mediums, and he's currently 15 laps in. Ricardo Costa ahead of him did 21 laps and is now only on his 14th lap there. So definitely these two are going for slight little variations, but they're on the same strat together. But of course, everyone around, when you look at Panzer, of course, starting on that Ultra Soft, and then Rojek, Gosby, and Simoncic ahead on those Ultra Softs as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do as they started, of course, like we said, from, I think Costa was 10th, where he got that 1 place bump due to the penalty on... Oh, what happened?
Fournier is all over the back of Dennis Jordan. He was having a look. He never went for it at turn 4, but he was close enough. And I was thinking that he might have given it a good old solid go there, but the Frenchman opting to side with caution on that one. Currently, this battle for 8th position. Kirill Burikov as well up in 7th position, not too far ahead. But Jeffrey Fournier is close right back up to Dennis Jordan and is looking very, very racy.
Definitely is. And of course, Fournier, I'm going to say this right now. I expect Jordan to make an overtake on Burikov before Fournier does an overtake on Jordan. I'm looking at this right now. They're all in the DRS train, of course. I just feel like Jordan can defend strong enough to keep Fournier away.
Well, we'll have to see. The edge, that edge looks super quick in a straight line as well. We saw it earlier when Fournier left not too far behind as PAP enters the pit lane. Fournier came onto the start-finish straight, maybe sort of 8/10 behind the Edge Esports, and made almost no impact with a DRS open, even though the Edge Esports car did not have any. So they've obviously adjusted their setup a little bit. With two different drivers this round than previous, and they are an absolute bullet in the straight line in comparison.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one because definitely they're looking to hold on to this point because look at Dennis Jordan coming on in, just stepping in for this race. Finishing 8th as it was now wouldn't
Burikov
be too
wide.
bad for him.
Sorry.
Yeah, Burikov super wide there. I didn't want to stay because that was a very silly mistake as Dennis Jordan now. I did say it, Jordan would overtake Burikov before Fournier to overtake Jordan, but was not expecting that.
Yeah, went full Michael Schumacher there and just completely skipped the chicane.
Yeah, maybe just forgot about that one. Who knows?
Absolutely.
I'm sure this track only has 13 turns, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I always like making my own circuit. It's good fun, that.
Course as well. Rallycross is pretty fun, so he might be a fan of that. We'll see.
Absolutely. It's good rallycross. It really increases your ability to drive. I'll tell you that. If you ever need to learn car control, pick up a rallycross game.
What, like Dirt 2, essentially?
Like Dirt 2 or the rallycross mode in AMS. You pick up one of those, and I promise you, hand on heart, it will absolutely help you in whatever car you pick. Wow! Speaking of that helping someone, the moment that Michi Hoyer just had over turn 4 was absolutely monstrous. He's obviously been playing Dirt Rally 2.0 recently because he picked that one up like it was nothing.
Yeah, that just looked casual. We saw, the driver near enough left, right, left, right, left, right, left in a mere 2 seconds, being able to pull that off to get it back under control. And he hasn't lost much from it, which is
I was going to say, I don't think he
amazing.
lifted. I don't think he lifted at all.
He is right on the back of Costa's car there as well. Panzer behind Hoyer, but let's see what happens. Of course, like we said, Hoyer and Costa following very similar strats. In Costa just seemingly being able to hold it off on the straights, but they've got a problem, and ACR Blue is right behind them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I don't know what the scenario is with ACR at the moment and Michi Hoyer. Because I know there was Mike Pittman, who used to run the ACR camp, but he's left ACR fairly recently. But I don't know how that's all unfolded because obviously Michi Hoyer was also the owner of the team, and it's a very confusing place to be. Just an FYI as well, why not throw it out there? Give him a cheeky old plug. If you fancy, after the race, have a little bit of a deeper analysis as to how Michi Hoyer's race has been. He does stream him over on Michi Hoyer SimRacing on YouTube, so it's always an interesting thing to go through another driver's race and see how their race quite came to be and how they were feeling at the time. So if you fancy that, have a little look.
Well, that is it. Michi Hoyer was on the ACR main team. It's the drive that Martin Gosby stole away from. So right now, Michi Hoyer probably just wants to get ahead of an ACR car in this race and really show them up,
Absolutely. I say I don't know if he's still part of the outfit and is just driving elsewhere. I don't know what's happening with Michi.
Or maybe because he hasn't had the best season. Like you look at, look at Hoyer's performance so far this season, and he's currently sitting down in 13th in the driver's standing, 6th, 7th, 10th, and 8th. So by Hoyer's standard, this has not been a great season for him, and maybe he just stepped down for the team's sake,
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see, because the thing is Michi's on a completely different strategy than anyone else. So kind of that one. This strategy for Mitchell could still unfold quite nicely. His season has not been great at all. It's not by any stretch of the imagination. It's not been a great season. There have been flashes, but they've more been flashes in the pan rather than anything else. And so I think this strategy might work out for me. He's come out just behind Victor Ivanov, currently driving the John Lacey, which running in 30th position might be one of their better drives of the season. It's a bit of a shot, sorry.
I was there like, oh, that's a bold statement, buddy. Looking as well,
it's a joke.
To the softs, and we're expecting another pit stop here for this lad, onto another set of the softs, of course, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So having a quick little wrap around. Currently, as it stands, Simčić out front, now 8 seconds ahead of Gosby, who's in second. Oh, I just saw that little move by Panzer as well. Good time for me to do a little rundown of the standings, because that's Gosby second, Rojek in third, and Panzer now up into fourth. Ricardo Costa trying to keep close behind Panzer, but didn't have it, and Panzer will be able to run away a little bit there. Definitely showing the downforce. Costa in fifth, like I said. Jordan in sixth, and he's quite a ways away from Costa right now. He's going to want to close that in, because definitely Geoffrey Fournier in P7 is right behind him. Birikov a little bit back is in P8. Now it's Bratshot just behind him. We'll be wanting to get an overtake in P9. And Valeriano in P10 rounds out our top 10. Of course, then you've got Lukashek, Cameron Roger in P12. He's closing in on Lukashek, actually. Cameron Roger has had one peculiar race as well, because he's been on a completely different strategy to everyone else on the track.
Yeah, it's like with a circuit like this, sometimes you just need to throw a completely different strategy at it, something that no one else is doing, because regardless of it being right or wrong, it might work. It is a massive gamble, of course, but in certain cases, you can gain so much out of it using it right. And I'm curious as to where Ricardo Costa's one's going to go and where Michi Hoyer's strategy is going to go towards the end of this race, because I think those two have got to play a very crucial part in who is going to be inside the top 5 come the checkered flag.
Definitely at the moment as well, having a quick look, because Geoffrey Fournier, still stuck behind Jordan, but Costa being that far away means Fournier's got to make some sort of move now or through the pits, because this is a bit of an uncomfortable position, because if he makes the move now, then he's got no one to DRS train off and get that little toe. But where does he come out if he pits? It's going to be probably his race engineers in the back trying to work it out. If I have a quick little glance right now, I reckon he'll be tucking out just behind Cameron Roger into P13 if Fournier pits.
Yeah, you've got to give a good shout out to the HME Oramilla bunch, because they've done a good job this season. It's not been an amazing job, but it's been a good job. They have had some amazing races. Jeffrey Fournier with that.
They're a team that's building, aren't they?
Absolutely. They've scored points in every race of the season. They've done a very, very good job. They're currently sitting here in 5th and 7th position. Fournier covering the strategy of everyone else. Ricardo Costa trying to do something a little bit different. And they've got two really good drivers in the Frenchman of Geoffrey Fournier and the Portuguese driver of Ricardo Costa. Two very good, similarly aggressive drivers, which is a good thing, because they bounce off of each other really, really well. And that's a huge positive. I mean, Ricardo Costa trying to close down onto the back of an ACR. Obviously he's been overtaken by it, but he's trying to close back up to Robin Panzer if he can. His teammate not too far behind on the attack for an edge. Esports, they're both doing good jobs.
And you got to remember, Costa's tyres are 5 laps older on these mediums as well. So by all degree, he is at a disadvantage right now. So the drop-off is expected due to these tyres starting to come to the end of their life, which, like we said, we're a little bit surprised that the end of life is just past the 20 lap mark. We're expecting these to be able to go maybe closer towards 30, but who knows? Just hasn't happened today in this setting, has it?
No, absolutely not. One thing that is happening is Jane Simčić is pulling away at the top end of the field, 8.3 seconds now.
Oh, he's got a little DRS soon. Who's that? He's coming up onto the back of it.
The flag of Michaels,
yeah. So we're just about to is going to have the blue flags waving for Michaels, of course. He doesn't have to get out of the way just now during the second sector. He should be pretty safe, but when it comes around to the pit straight, he'll have to allow Simčić through. But Simčić is probably quite happy to just get a little sniff of DRS for once in a while.
Yeah, not a good race for Stephen Michaels. Had an unbelievably good race in Germany. Finished in 7th position, scored his first points of the season. All 6 of them. Had a really, really good drive with it, with an excellent strategy done by Cameron Roger to get himself into those points. Unfortunately, this Grand Prix not working out for him. It's almost like a sad return to form, unfortunately. But at least he's given the race winner a bit of a hand. Take credit for it. Why not? Bit of DRS there on Simčić's part.
Yep. There you go. Simčić makes the move clean. What you expect. The next target for Simčić is going to be Viktor Ivanov, who is a fair ways down the road currently, going through turn 4 into 5. And he is close behind Danny Vandeny and Cameron Roger. Cameron Roger under a bit of attack there. But we're not expecting to see Simčić make an overtake for quite a while now.
No, but we in sort of the next 6-ish laps, I would see him in the pit lane, is what I would expect. Valeriano, speaking of, is in there at the moment. Obviously, he started the race on the soft compound tyre. Pitted, came out on the soft compound tyre. Pitted, came out on the mediums, and is going to pit and come out probably on the mediums. I'm going to suggest he only did 18 laps on that stint, and so I would reckon he is waiting to do another stop.
Have I just seen... Sorry, I'm checking. Valeriano, yeah. 18 laps on that,
Yeah,
well,
on the
technically
medium.
19, because when he went over the line in the pit straight, technically 19. But that should have been his final stop. 13 on the soft, 12 on the soft, 19 on the medium, and you'd hope he'd be able to do the, what's that, following 25, 24 on this medium.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be stopping again. I think he'll stop again and come out on the softs and finish the race, or potentially even the ultras. Yeah, if the ultras maybe late enough. But his tyre wear seems really high. I wouldn't even risk going on the ultras.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and he's at a point in this race where he's probably outside of any point scoring zone. So just bring that car home and maybe try and snag a high speed whilst doing it. You know.
Absolutely. P8 there, we've got Kirill Burikov, who very quickly moved over to try and break the slipstream of Janis Brakshock, who's currently in 9th position, the Ghost Speed driver trying to get by Kirill Burikov. But Brakshock not able to do it quite as yet, but it's looking pretty pacey at the moment, of course on a slightly different strategy to Kirill Burikov on some slightly fresher medium compound tyres.
And that's an interesting little one there from Burikov, being so far over on the left in the come up to P4. Is that because he just doesn't want to give any slipstream over the Brakshock there?
It's just breaking slipstream, yeah, absolutely. You'll see it if you want to, why not? If you ride on board with him ride on board with Brakshock following up to the final corner, what you'll see is you'll probably see Burikov come out of the final corner and just keep turning and hold right just to break the slipstream and just instantly cover off if he needs to. Just to get things sort of a bit more comfortable for him on the run down towards turn 1. Thing is, Brakshock will follow him over, but it does break the slipstream just a little bit. And every little helps, as I was told by one supermarket chain once, rubbing Panzer into the pit lane, by the way.
Yep. Sometimes it can literally be a few 100s, can't it? That makes the difference there. And like you said, Ron Panzer back into the pit lane. He must be a thirsty lad, and there's a bottle. He's left his bottle of water there or something like that, because for my liking, he's popped into the pits way too often. But I'm looking at this, and that has to be his final pit stop. 23 laps left he's got to do. He should be able to eke that out.
I think so. I think he'll be able to get to the end, yeah, because he's shown he's on the setup with he knows there's good tyre wear. We've seen good tyre wear from Panzer before. His last stint was 20 laps. I reckon he could eke out a further 3 or 4.
Godspeed's
He's
done
just trying
22.
to gain a little bit.
He's the highest one from the ACRs I've seen. So 23, when the car's lighter, there should be less wear. It should be doable for Panzer from here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my goodness me. Janis Simčić has had a horrible few laps. It's come down to 6.7 seconds now, which is 1.5 over the last few laps, which sounds like
saving?
a lot. I think it's saving. I think it's
Yeah.
saving a little bit of maybe a mistake. Probably not. Let's be real. Maybe a mistake though.
I wish
think
I
it's
had
looking
some
after.
sort of like tire percentage display or something for these drivers, because I don't know about you,
It'd be
but
dead
if
handy,
I'm,
wouldn't it?
yeah, generally these guys should have some sort of running of that to be able to work it out, because you can do the calculations naturally yourself. But Bradshaw
Why?
into the pits.
Why is Bradshaw into the pits?
He did 14 laps on that medium.
He can definitely go to the end from now, but why did he come into the pit lane so early? I guess, actually, I kind of get the idea of getting onto these tyres early so you can try and make as many gains as you can, like now. But the thing is then, why would you do a 24-lap stint earlier in the race? What advantage did that give you? That's odd.
The only thought I can think is he thought he'd be close to the Panzer and try to catch onto the back of him, but
Panzer's
if that
so
is
far up
it,
the road.
yeah, Panzer's like a good, 8 seconds ahead at this point, so maybe even close to the 10. Hey, good stuff from me, it was 8. So why would you try and risk that? Like, really, he should have just gone for the soft in the stint beforehand, because we do know if you want to pull off the free stop, you can do 2 mediums, a soft and ultra soft. That's absolutely fine. Or you just do the ultra soft and try to eke out the 2 mediums. Rojek is just coming into the pits from 3rd.
So Fournier into the pit lane as well from 6th or 5th. I think it was 6th that he was in. Comes into the pit lane, also gets on the medium to compound tyre.
That's the response, ain't it? That's it. These are the last tyres.
It's covering them off. It's covering the other ones off, just to sort of like guarantee those positions as Bradshaw comes down. Jeffrey Fournier going to get out just ahead, but Bradshaw going to be looking racy here on this first lap after the pit stop.
Already set to fastest sectors, what was sector 2 and 3, being very, very pacey. Sector 2, near enough a whole second faster than what everyone else is putting on. That's crazy. Same with sector 3. Actually, he's, probably that one's only about 0.7 seconds, but that's crazy numbers, as he is really close to the back of Fournier there.
Yeah, he's really closed in. Well, naturally, we know that Bradshaw is pretty quick. He qualified 3rd here, obviously. Has some pace in the car, at least. Still a bit of curiosity on the strategy. I reckon hindsight's 2020, right? But looking at that strategy, they could have gained a lot more from this Grand Prix so far, from what we can see, on a slightly more organised strategy.
Yeah, do a couple more laps on that last set of mediums. Should have been able to go a little bit faster overall, because these are going to have to go to what we expect now by looking at these drivers, the end of their life maybe. If they've got, unless every driver's like, only using half of the tyres, and they can go a lot longer, and it is just coming down the strategy of them, but that's a weird one.
Ooh.
Like you said, Jordan in pits, and he's lost.
Yeah, DJ's lost out to Fournier here. So Dennis Jordan has lost out to the pair of them, actually. From pitting 1 lap after Jeffrey Fournier, Dennis Jordan has jumped down into 11th position, and Jeffrey Fournier managed to get by.
And you got to think, it was, 3 laps after Bradshaw? So
2, yeah.
maybe Bradshaw just pulled out the undercut, but he lost out to Fournier anyway.
Race leader in.
Oh, yeah.
Simoncic in a very dominant position, heads into the pit lane. Martin Gosby takes the race lead. Simoncic is going to come out in 2nd position here, and a comfortable 2nd position at the moment. Ricardo Costa just manages to hang on to from Kirill Burikov, currently in 3rd position, but that HME or a Miller car has to come into the pit lane once again, as he has only run the medium compounds up to this point. But I don't know what position he's supposed to be in, as Kirill Burikov, speaking of, comes into the pit lane. Roadcheck now up into 4th. It'll be Roadcheck who'll be onto the final step of the podium once Ricardo Costa enters the pit lane. So a very, very solid drive from Roadcheck, who will be taking, as long as things pan out well, his first podium, or second podium rather, of the season.
Yeah, and I'm just quickly having a quick look of everything going on there. For me, Gosby should be able to tuck out safely into 2nd as well. So those 2 ACR cars just have to keep a clean race from now on. Like I said, Mrozek fighting for that podium should be able to easily take it, really. My interest is looking at Hoyer. Of course, he's still got a pit, but we just saw Kirill Burikov go in. So Hoyer, by all accounts, might be in the fight for definitely a point at least, and maybe closing up onto Burikov and Jordan by the end of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Gosby into the pit lane and onto the mediums for his final stop. Yene Simicic retakes the lead. It's going to be around the 9 to 10 second mark.
That's crazy.
Which is a crazy gap. Absolutely.
And this, for me, is absolutely nuts because we're worried about Simicic after, the last two races at Silverstone coming in third, Germany in second. Because the entirety of the first 5 races, Simicic was untouchable. We're a little bit worried of a drop of form. And now he comes back here and pulls this off. Simicic is back with a vengeance. And I love it that it's when I return.
Yeah, absolutely.
That gives me the thought.
Sorry, Bradshaw and Fournier going side by side, coming down the hill up towards turn 2. Fournier just going to hold on to that move from Janis Bradshaw, who got down the inside, then left him on the outside for turn 2. Didn't quite manage to make that one stick. Jeffrey Fournier just hanging on to 7th position, so Dennis Jordan will be closing back up slowly. Kirill Burikov as well, not too far behind from him also. Robin Panzar got past Michi Hoyer for 5th and 6th position, so Panzar on the hunt now to make it an ACR 1, 2, 3, 4.
Could you imagine that? That'd be absolutely crazy. Right there, and I'm just quickly looking because, of course, Costa has to come into the pits once again, and from the looks of it, he is going to be pitting onto the soft. So Costa has a successful 2-pit strategy. There he is coming into the pits right now, as he did 30 laps on
softs.
that second set of tyres. So this has got to be onto the softs to finish it off. As I say that, Brejak has just set fastest lap.
Yeah, but he's got a long way up to... he's in completely clear air. He's just cruising.
The Panzer, isn't unfortunately going to be able to touch him there. That's 8 seconds of difference. That's massive.
Yeah, it's a huge gap. These guys, all the ACR guys are spread out by 8 seconds apiece. 8 seconds from Simicic to Gosby to Rocek as well, 8 seconds, and then 8 seconds from Rocek to Panzar. So they've all really spread out, which is quite interesting for them.
I like this symmetry between
yeah.
all. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the symmetry's cute.
As well, keeping a little eye, of course, Panzar might be under attack. Questions there from Fournier, but it's a fairly considerable 5-second gap between the two. Fournier is going to be hoping that Hoyer can put a bit of pressure onto Panzer, because Hoyer is trying to finish off this current set of soft tyres. He's 13 laps in, so he's probably giving it, the final push on these before he goes on to another set of softs. Keep an eye on him there. He's going out for another lap, of course, but... Oh no, Hoyer going in, sorry. That was me.
Mitchie.
I was looking at... Bradshaw.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was it. Teammate caught up in the sight of things.
Onto the soft compound tyre for Michi Hoyer to finish the Hungarian Grand Prix. He's dropped down outside of the points, now currently in 13th place, which is not good, but it's on the faster compound tyre. Will hopefully close up to the back of the Ghost Speed driver of Lukaszek and maybe get himself into the points, but that's how close it is. In FSR, he was in 5th position, waits 1 pit stop, and is outside of the points by a long way.
Up massively. POP currently sitting on 10th. I'm currently trying to figure out how far ahead he is roughly. From the looks of things, you could be looking at about, maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit just to get these tyres up to temperature.
Well, not that far, but it's, a considerable 10-second gap nearly. Mitchie can figure that out.
It's a big old gap, but I mean, when you get in the zone, you're on these fresh tyres. The problem is, I brought this up to you before the race. You can lap 2 seconds quicker than anyone, but the moment you catch someone, if you don't instantly get by, that advantage is almost gone. It's completely wiped out. And so with Mitchie at this point of view, if he is going to be quite a bit quicker than the likes of Lukaszek, Valeriano, and Peeve ahead, which I think he will be, when he closes in on them, he's got to close in and pass straight away. I still think Valeriano actually has to make another pit stop as well.
Yep.
So that's a free position, but...
Unless he can... Actually, no, Valeriano's only 10 laps into this current set of mediums. 15 left, he could push it. We'll see.
Yeah, but then look at his tyre wear over the previous stints. I think there is a tyre wear issue on that car.
Yeah, he could. It'd just be safe, yeah. Lukaszek does not need to pit, and Peripiv does need to pit. So... That'll be an interesting one. Is my rFactor locks up a little bit, and so I can't change cameras, but I've got it sorted now. So Peripiv needs to pit. So it's Lukaszek and Hoyer fighting, really, I reckon, for that last point.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a good drive on return for Michi Hoyer to grab a points-paying position. Of course, a team move from him, leaving the ACR camp, joining Ground Effect, and not having the best Grand Prix so far on his return, but hopefully scoring a point would be a nice little sort of tag back into the FSR World Championship.
My interest right now, as well, I'm going to say, Lewis, is this battle between Burkov and Jordan, where you got to think this is a battle for 7th. Those are some considerable points. And, if anything happens to Bradshaw or Fournier up ahead, they get a little bit too tough and tussle, then you could see one of these two lads maybe jump up there. But Jordan has just been putting pressure on Burkov, who is held off for so long.
Yeah, Kirill Burkov is a man who's definitely had some good drives over 2019.
Actually, I've looked. Burkov still needs to make a pit stop. He's only used medium tyres.
He had a good drive, did Burkov. I mean, obviously he's good to go together, fair enough. But he had a good drive in France. He finished 5th and has had such good showings, but is unable to put them together. Has retired. He's done 5 Grand Prix in the World Championship in 2019 and has retired 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so great.
This is looking to be one that he will be able to finish, hopefully. Fingers crossed, touch wood, all that jazz. But because of the strategy, it could hurt him here. He should have gone onto a soft stint instead of those last mediums, and then, be able to throw on an ultra at the end. Like this, I reckon, is going to hurt him. He's been able to do 25 laps in his first 2 sets of mediums, which massively commendable, of course, because some of these drivers haven't been able to do that. But it's put him into a real tricky situation right now, because if he goes for another pit stop... keep it on the grass.
Second time he's made a mistake.
Yeah, that is the easiest overtake you could ever ask for if you're Dennis Jordan there.
Well, it's the second time he's overtaken him through a mistake in that bit of the track. Dennis is well happy with that.
Yeah. And now he's got the solid place of 7th, really, because I doubt Birakov's going to be able to fight back now, as he is just out of the DRS window. So Jordan, especially on these straights, like you were saying, that edge is a bullet. It's got so much straight line speed. Should be able to run away with it. My thought is Bradshaw. It's a 3-second gap. We've got 13 laps left. Can Jordan do anything to this?
Potentially, fastest lap between the two of them. Dennis Jordan's done a 17.6. Janis Bradshaw done a 17.7, so pretty close on that side. However, the last lap, including that in air quotes overtake, it was a 17.9 from Dennis Jordan. It was an 18.4 from Bradshaw. So maybe Bradshaw's struggling a little bit with the tyres. Will he be able to respond, and will Dennis Jordan be able to close that gap? I think based on that, he probably can, actually.
And Jordan's tyres are 2 laps younger and massively over, so that half second again has probably just been lost right there and then. Stephen Michaels, back of the pack, has just set fastest lap, but as I say that, guess who goes?
Yeah, the Simončić. Off he goes.
Simončić, the first one into the 116s. That is some wicked pace there on his mediums, nonetheless.
I mean, I'm seeing Dennis Jordan make a couple of mistakes on this lap. I've just watched him through the lap 59 that we're currently on. I've seen him make a few mistakes. I've seen this car look very, very understeery. And yet somehow he's still closed in quite a bit to Janis Brakshock, which makes me wonder, how is Janis Brakshock's car doing at the moment? Because it can't be that good.
It's only, like, Bradshaw tyres aren't, like, massively old. Like I said, it's 2 laps. Bradshaw has done 11 laps on these mediums. Jordan's only done 9. So there's not any sort of tyre difference there that can, contribute to this. Is it just Bradshaw has he maybe used too much fuel during this race and so is having to save? Like, did he underfuel his car? Who knows? Yeah,
potentially either underfueling or potentially he's used too much of the tyres in the early part of the stint anyway by just pushing too hard. You're right that the actual lap difference wouldn't make any difference on grip if you were driving them the same. However, Dennis might have been driving them a bit more calculated. Alternatively, Janis Brakshock, if he does, he's got a lot of confidence. That's for sure. He might just be controlling things at the moment and keeping his eye on this gap to Dennis Jordan will respond when he needs to. I feel that one's a bit more unlikely considering the sector times that we're seeing in comparison over this lap. Dennis Jordan is closing down very quickly, a 27.5 in the first sector, a 27.8 for Brakshock, and it's a 26.6 for Brakshock and a 26.2 for Dennis Jordan. Kirill Burikov as well, actually responding and keeping, as much as he's quite far behind, but this lap at least, keeping pace with Dennis Jordan, doing a good job.
That is definitely a good job because Jordan, to me it seems anyway, he's actually turning it up a notch. This is him going the fastest we've seen from him. I mean, he has done a 117.6 before, but he's definitely putting in very consistent 117.8 right now. He is looking to close it and just essentially wants to get onto that DRS window behind Bradshaw. And I'll imagine what he'll do is just hold on to that DRS for a few laps, maybe conserve a little bit, and then attack and try to secure it and make sure that he takes P6.
Absolutely, and with that as well, as much as he's about 5 seconds down the road, Jeffrey Fournier as well is lapping decently, a little bit slower than Dennis Jordan, but obviously a bit quicker than Brakshock. If Jeffrey Fournier were to make a mistake, which I don't think he will, I think he's too experienced in SimRacing to make a silly mistake in the latter part of a Grand Prix.
His mistakes always come at the early stages.
The early stages
too
or racing.
Adventurous.
Yeah, absolutely. But Fournier, I don't think he would make a mistake, but if he does, even a slight one, will come down on that gap quite significantly.
Well, where he's got a window either side, he's got no reason to make a mistake. This is just clean driving, which he can do to a T. So Fournier should be able to finish this out in P5, which is very commendable for this lad. Of course, like we were saying, the car difference. You look at Fournier just through the current standings now, currently trying to look him up. He has had a P3 this season, but you look towards how he's developed. P5 in Australia, 13 in China, Azerbaijan came 8th, 9th Canada, 3rd France, 7th in Silverstone, and 6th at the Hockenheim. So 5th for Fournier is a very commendable finish for him with how he's been driving so far this season. It comes down really to the competition he's been up against this season. It has been crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if obviously I don't think he'll close up to the back of Panzar, but if Fournier was to move at one position, or even if Ricardo Costa was to move at one position, a testament to how their season's been actually from a consistency point of view. But they would jump the Jean Alesi Esports Academy in the standings for 4th position if they were to make another move, which realistically, I mean that's all great. But the idea that they're in 5th and 8th at the moment, once again, this team racking off a couple of point scoring positions at a Grand Prix, really showing some very, very good form, and it's good to see.
It is indeed. We've just snuck into our last 10 laps. What's that? The last... I'm not going to try and guess at it, but I reckon probably... I don't know.
You're guessing the minutes left, are you?
Yeah, I was trying to think it out. Like, in my head, I'm calculating. So we've got about 117. So how does that match it up? About...
Oh, I wouldn't even go into it. We're gonna go with 11 minutes.
Sure.
Why not? Random guess.
Let's do that. Yeah, 11. So it's really coming down to crunch time. I'm looking at Giordano Villarano right now in 10th place. He has got Michi Hoyer just right behind him. Behind Michi as well is Lukashev, but Villarano is the one that's holding on to that very key last point. And he's currently 16 laps into, so that will take his tyre life up to 24 laps, which we were saying we weren't sure if he'll be able to do it, just purely because of how quick he's going through his tyres. But who knows? If he can just pull it off and do some wicked defending, he might be able to hold on to this P10. But Michi Hoyer, he is such a good driver. We'd expect for him to be able to get that overtake in. And he has closed in so much in this last lap.
Either way, I think Michi Hoyer is definitely scoring a point at this Grand Prix. Valeriano going a little bit defensive, just trying to break that slipstream again. As I said earlier in the Grand Prix with, I think it was Burakov. Burakov, though, speaking of, he is yet to stop. That's why I say Michi Hoyer is almost guaranteed a points-paying position, because Kirill Burakov needs to come into the pit lane once again and take a tyre that isn't the mediums.
He does.
Valeriano as well. We're still curious as to whether he can get to it. His legality is completed on the tyre compound scenario. He's done 2 stints on the softs and 1 on the medium at the moment. If he can get this to the end, or 2 on the medium rather, sorry. If he can get this to the end, hats off to him. That is impressive, and it should be in a points-paying position, provided he can keep ahead of Lukaszek.
Definitely, and yeah, you see Hoyer like that, like you said, be able to get 2 points if he can get this overtake done pretty much. That'd be good for him for his little outing today. And then I want to say he's too far away from Costa though. Costa should be safe for P8 right now. And we have to say Costa's had a great race, remember, because he started from he was on the alternate strategy, starting on 11th, so being able to get up into P8 is very commendable for him.
Yeah, the alternate strategy hasn't been as pokey as I would have anticipated. Yeah. We look at Michi Hoyer, who's going around the outside of Valeriano using a superior grip. And at turn 1, Michi Hoyer gets himself and bags himself a point here at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yep, and you can definitely see that dirty air hurting Valeriano. Having to fall quite a ways back and have Valeriano into probably the grips very soon of Lukaszek. He's got to be careful there as Michi Hoyer takes P10 away from Valeriano and a secure point.
Yeah, it will be a secure point. Kirill Burakov yet to stop still, but coming into 6 laps to go. I'm going to assume that Kirill Burakov will be in either this lap or the next one. I don't know why he wouldn't be in this one and use those ultras, because the thing is right now, if he doesn't pit, he won't be able to use those ultras for that, like for the time that you can actually gain stuff out of them. Yeah, absolutely. So I'd be curious as to why he wouldn't pit now, but he still doesn't.
Not.
Well, if he goes
wonder
to the end,
if someone hasn't told him about.
He's raced here long enough to know.
I don't know. We were talking about earlier silly mistakes.
Yeah,
it does happen where a driver forgets about having to change their tyre. Where Burkov is so caught up in this race with Costa because I'm not going to lie, Burkov has been putting in faster laps. He's been trying to close this up on Costa, of course. Make sure to get use of that DRS before he goes in. That's most likely it. But I'm just saying, in a weird wild world, you can sometimes forget about going onto a different compound because he's got so caught up in this race and trying to overtake Costa.
Yeah, but it is his 6th race of the season, so I would suspect that Kirill Burakov would know about the rule. And sometimes he'd have a bit of a brain fart or whatever. I won't talk about my misdemeanors of getting into racing and then completely forgetting to stop and then running out of fuel with a 2-lap lead. That wasn't fun. But at the same time, I don't know. I would assume he knows he would have to pit.
But no, he stays out.
He must really hate the ultras.
Yeah. I mean, most people hated them for the qualifying. It's like everyone was asking, why didn't we have the super softs for this race? And it's because the super softs would have been too OP for this. That would have been just way too killer because they would have been perfect for this track, wouldn't they? But perfect doesn't always make the best racing and for us to view.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely know that about in the real world, of course. And now looking at this, close there.
Yeah, Lukaszek's got by Valeriano. So Lukaszek will be inside the points positions as well at the moment. He's in 11th position, but will obviously move up to 10th, regardless really of whether Burakov pits or not, because if he doesn't, then it's a disqualification.
Well, and that's some good points, of course, for the Ghost Speed side. You got to look at that. where this team, like we said, we're expecting a lot more from them this season, and just getting points like they are here is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, 6th place at the moment with a qualifying of 3rd. And Lukaszek moving himself up into the points positions towards the latter part of this Grand Prix. It has been not an amazing one, but it has been a good, solid foundation starting the second half of the season. They ended the second half of the season in fantastic form with qualifying 4th and 5th. What could have been for Tom Satherley at the German Grand Prix, but a podium to finish off that first half of the season. And now they're looking to really consolidate their season and move their way back up to the front end of the field, which they haven't really seen since having Jene Simicic in the team.
That is pretty much it. It's Simicic is king around FSR. It almost seems like where he goes dictates. That's why ACR wanted to get him on board. Martin Gosby, of course, making the move up to the main team as well, and he has well and truly earned it. He has had a fantastic season. Really, his only rival at the moment does seem to be Simicic. Simicic seemingly almost unrivaled apart from in the last 2 races. Rojek as well, sitting in 3rd. And it's in a nice, comfortable little bubble of his own. Same can sort of be said for Panzer. Of course, Geoffrey Fournier closer behind him than Panzer is to Rojek. But still, that is a solid 4-second gap there.
Yeah, I mean, for Simicic, when he wins this race, you know what I mean? He won't make a mistake in that position. It'll be the 8th.
Touchwood,
Touchwood, yeah, definitely. I don't believe in that kind of superstition. There's Burakov's going to get past Ricardo Costa here, by the way. Odd that he's fighting back, but never mind. Kirill Burakov up into 8th position. Ricardo Costa, if I was you, I wouldn't even bother fighting it. Although obviously he probably won't know in the car. He's going to try and go around the outside of T2, but just going to drop him behind. But yeah, Jene Simicic will take his 6th win if he crosses the line, takes a checkered flag first, which will be his 15th win overall in the World Championship, and it will be ACR's 8th of the season.
That is absolutely nuts.
And their first ever 1, 2, 3, 4.
Christ. In history of ACR?
Right,
just this season?
In the season of World Championship. I don't know what they've done prior to that.
Or if any other team has been able to do that. We'll have to get the old historians out to check that.
That would be a big
happened.
old book to go through, but I would suggest that potentially Precision did that at some point through 2010, 11 or 12.
And I just was watching it. Simicic being able to get past Viktor Ivanov, who went really wide in turn 4, and he's still going wide. Of course, those blue flags letting cars come through, and he's not firing any of it. Oh, I think Ivanov might actually have a bit of damage. He's just going, yeah, he's got no front wing. Of course, I was on the, the rear wing cams, so couldn't see that front wing, just absolutely missing. I have no idea where that came off there. But good of him to actually go really wide around turns, making sure not to cause any problems there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just making sure not to get anyone caught out or in a race. I'm flicking back through the results now. I want to find out when it happened.
Definitely think it's got to be probably up to turn 4, I reckon there.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going to come into the pits. He'll probably slap on a pair of the Ultra Softs. He was probably hoping to finish this race, of course, on that mediums, and he would have finished on a 2-stop stint. So it was possible around this race, but clearly not the fastest. I just feel bad for him, of course, because that does demote him to the back of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame, but at least he's going to try and get to the end of the Grand Prix. We are on the final lap of the race, and Jene Simicic is closing in on that final bit. Just a fun fact to go throw it out there. The last time, as far as I can see, that a team had a 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's my memory that Precision and GT Omega were sister teams back in the day, they did a 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the Belgium Grand Prix in 2011.
Blimey. Well, blimey about that, and here's the start of a new page in the history books, but it's just another day at the office for Jene Simicic. Look at the wiggles, he's filled with joy as he comes across the line and claims himself another gold. He's going to need a bigger trophy cabinet at this point. Martin Gosby follows through with a second. Rojek just closing on in around turn 13. He'll be coming into 14. Shows the considerable distance that the front two had over everyone else. As yes, that is Rojek coming up to that DRS line and across the line himself. Will complete the podium. Panzer around that last turn as well. We'll be finishing off that 1, 2, 3, 4. Geoffrey Fournier not far behind him. He was really closing in that gap, trying to take fourth away, but not to be. Brakshock takes P6, Dennis Jordan 4, P7, Kirill Burkov will be taking P8, and I am just quickly checking that. Yeah. Burkov did not pit.
No, it did not. That'll be a disqualification for Burkov, I reckon.
Ricardo
That's a
Costa
shame.
takes P9, Mitchie Oy coming in P10, but that, of course, will be bumped up to the P9. Rojek Lukashek will be finishing in P11, but like we said, due to that whole instant there, that will be P10, and he will be getting another point for the Ghost Speed team. Giordano Villarano taking P12. Cameron Roger coming in for P13. Danny Vandenet, of course, in P14. Stephen Michaels, P15. And Victor Ivanov finishing it off in P16.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the most heart-racing Grand Prix at the front end. I'm sure Jelena Simicic wasn't too awake, I guess. The thing is, as much as a race this isn't too interesting as a spectator, I guarantee Jelena Simicic enjoyed almost every lap of that, because it's always fun to be out that far ahead and to be in such a level of control that you're so comfortable.
I think as well, this is probably going to set Yerne a little bit at rest, because like we said, over the last two races, him not getting that gold, he was doing so well previously and then falling off, getting a third at Silverstone and second in Germany, like you said. Lose that to his new teammate in Martin Gosby probably set a little bit of worry in his mind, you know? So coming back here and winning it, clears the air, and moving on to Belgium in a few weeks' time. That's going to be real good, because of course we know Belgium can cause some upsets, because that is like a driver's paradise, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one that you can really enjoy racing around. Obviously, you know, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities. It's one that a lot of drivers will put a lot of time into, because it's a fun track for most of the drivers, most of the field, and I'm sure that we'll see some good racing when that round comes about. Now, I've been doing some more digging because I just fancied it. Been doing some research into when the last time a 1, 2, 3, 4 happened for a team, and I think I found it, which was the Singapore Grand Prix in 2013, which was Precision Motorsports and GT Omega, because I'm absolutely sure there were sister teams in that year, because it was Bono Huis who won. It was Jeffrey Rietveld, who won the Academy race earlier in the day. Actually, Ivar Calamays was third, and then Jack Keithley was fourth, all of them being precision drivers. So there you go, the Singapore Grand Prix 2013. So it's not happened for a long time.
Yeah, it's always good for new challenges to step forward and bring some more, like we said, pages to the history book. For us, we're going to be hopping over to Discord, because we're currently in TeamSpeak, aren't we? And we're going to be joining Felix over there as we get ready for a couple of interviews for these drivers, because it's been one hell of a race, and we're sure they have a couple of words to say about it. So we're just going to quickly, I'd imagine, hop on over to what is a 20-second, 30-second break to get those mics set up as we move over there. There we go. We're over here and probably ready to get on with these interviews, right, Felix? So, hopping into the commentary booth with us is Jelena Simicic. Straight off, brilliant race from you, dude. Does it get a little bit lonely out there in front?
Yeah, actually, quite a bit. In the end, I wanted to have some more fun and started to push. And I had like 3 or 4 sideways moments, but fortunately I kept it together. But the first part of the race was quite interesting and entertaining.
And definitely, that was the one big thing, actually. The way you got your lead was from your overtakes, wasn't it? During that, when you got caught up in the midfield against the other guys that were starting on the mediums, and just your overtakes were so crucial. In those moments, how do you decide when to go for an overtake? Because, of course, there's a lot of risk involved, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, let me just try to remember what happened there. Yeah, I don't think I really risked much. I was quite worried when I stopped and there was this four-car train in front of me, and I just could not get any close to. I think it was Kirill in front of me, but then Michi did a mistake and someone pitted in front, and I don't know, like just it cleared out, and I'm not even sure. I know there was some incident with some car. I think it was Victor when he spun behind me. Not sure what happened there, but I had to check the replay. I hadn't felt any contact, but yeah, of course it's risky when you try to get in front of anybody here, especially in Hungary. Yeah, if you are first in the train, then you always have the luxury of passing first and then leaving everyone stuck behind. So yeah, I could just build a gap from there.
And I've just quickly dragged Martin Gosby into the booth as well. Good evening, Martin. But we're talking about how the basic traffic from that the second wave of drivers, of course, those that started on the mediums, really affected the order of the race. Of course, Yone being able to get a massive jump by jumping two cars essentially in that. You not getting so lucky, and I will say massive compliments about how there was that accident in front of you, which you were able to where the two cars had touched each other and you were able to quickly be able to make the most of it and then just run away from the ACR Blue lads. Oh, is Martin here?
Yep. Hello, sorry.
There we go. So just looking at that, how do you think your race went as well, Martin, for yourself? Like we were saying, Yone was probably a little bit lonely up front after the, second pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, my race overall was pretty good. His preparation wasn't the best. I was at one point I had like a small tantrum and ended up giving. But luckily coming back that same night and then gaining some pace. For the actual race itself, I was pretty happy with it. I said to Yone before the race, please don't finish more than 20 seconds ahead of me. Don't embarrass me. So without the traffic, I think it was looking good. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the result.
And just quickly now, because of course I've been away for the last few weeks, the last month actually, from FSR. What was it that absolutely just turned it up for you? Because of course, getting the two golds essentially in Silverstone and the Hockenheim, coming here taking silver in Hungary. What is it, since moving up to the main team, that has really cemented your capabilities? I know before you moved up, you did take the silver in Canada as well, but what is it that has finally clicked for such great performance over the rest of the pack? Because you and Yone are essentially untouchables at the moment.
Well, I think the pace was always there, but in the second and third race, I made some stupid mistakes or got caught in the pack. So essentially in the team, I would say Yone is obviously miles ahead of everyone, and then me, Robin, and David, we're all pretty close on pace. It's just a matter of who qualifies better, and then that can dictate your race. So it's a tough one.
Is indeed. Lewis, you got any questions for our drivers here? Oh, I think he's muted on Discord. Maybe the wrong mic. I did see it light up, but no sound come through.
It's because I had my microphone muted.
There
You're
we
right.
go.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say, keep up the good work, keep at the top end of the field. It's been a good season so far. And Martin, if you could step up a little bit and just beat him a lot, and then we'll have a really tight championship fight going into the final rounds. Or Yone, if you fancy making a few mistakes, that'd be great.
That is it. You
It's a
only
joke,
just
don't
purposely, I don't know, qualify first and then start from the pits. Could be quite interesting for us, lad. But with that being said, it looks like we've got no more interviewees. So, Yone, mind, do you have any sellouts? Anyone you want to thank? Do a shout out to, starting with Yone.
Shout out. Well, of course.
Robin.
I mean, to everyone, yeah, of course. The first thought is always a shout out to Robin for all the work that he's doing for us. I always say that I really feel like a little bit incompetent compared to him when building the sets, and I just can't take the setup. And I try to improve it every time, but there is not anything to improve. So, yeah, I guess that's one of our strengths, that we can just build like more on driving because the setup is there.
That's actually so, like, probably is for you two as drivers, just then knowing that you're going to consistently have a brilliantly set up car just makes life easier for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like DNA said, we just do the driving part essentially. I mean, you have to make some setup adjustments for preference and things like that, but we can just drive, learn the strategy, do a couple of stints, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. So big shout out for Robin, because he does do a lot of work for us, and you feel a little bit bad that he hasn't had the top result yet. So hopefully that'll come for him in the rest of the season.
It's kind of one of those things, like, you know, when you're a team, you're more than just a driver and maybe a race engineer or teammates. You've got, especially at this level, there's a huge team behind everyone. I think like everyone needs to respect that there are people behind closed doors that are doing the setup work for everyone and trying to make sure that everything's perfect for everyone else, and sometimes don't get the credit that they sometimes deserve. So yeah, it's good to have a good shout out to people like Panzer.
Is indeed, and that's quite a nice little wholesome way to end, I think, these interviews. So, Lewis, before we come to a close, what would you say is your highlight of the day, my dude?
Oh, that is a tough one. I actually don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Okay,
it's been good racing.
Yeah, it has.
Nothing
indeed.
Silly.
I think that's pretty much it. There was actually no crashes. We saw a little few self errors, but everything was very clean today. And that, again, is a very wholesome way to end this all. So, guys, we're going to throw this on over to a close. You have been watching Formula Sim Racing FSR. If you want to find out anything more, even, sign up for a couple of the community days and that, I urgently urge you to head on over to www.formula-simracing.net. Get involved. You'll be able to get all the links there. Of course, we've got Discord server and all that lovely jubbly stuff. Of course, you're on the YouTube channel watching this right now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give it a little thumbs up and all that, sellout goodness. Every YouTuber does it. But from us, this is it. We are done and dusted. Next race is on the 25th of August. We're going over to Belgium, we're going to Spa, and I cannot wait to get stuck into that. I have been Corey Dyer. Joining me in the commentary booth has been Lewis McGlade, Felix van Delft, of course, running the stream, being the broadcast ninja in the back end. And from everyone here at FSR, we wish you a very warm goodbye.